I had a ton of fun in today's podcast. Kind of a get to know truly somebody you've known for 25 years and appreciated, Kelly Sage, formerly known as Kelly Jones, formerly known as Kelly Peters when we first met circa 2001. Kelly worked in economic development since I first moved to Fort Collins in 1999 and was instrumental in the launch of both the Rocky Mountain Innosphere and the Warehouse Business Accelerator. And she's served on more boards than I can count on both hands. And she's currently the president and CEO of the Longmont Economic Development Partnership. Kelly and I share so many characteristics that I teased during our conversation that we were siblings separated by birth. We sang the Star Spangled Banner together in this one, acapella, and our personal values are much like mirrors. But our journeys couldn't be much more different. Her hippie mom left the family in Waterloo, Iowa when Kelly was 12, and she effectively became the responsible adult to her two siblings. Her dad was a rock and roll star locally and traveled and opened for big names, and he ran a successful home supply business until it wasn't, and it went bankrupt, and they moved to a trailer park. A few years later, Kelly moved in with her mostly estranged mother to northern Colorado and began her pursuit of building economic prosperity and security through a philosophy she learned early in her career, economic gardening. Too many stories to share in this intro, but you have my promise that you will very much enjoy, as I did, my conversation with Kelly Sage. Welcome to the LoCo Experience Podcast. On this show, you'll get to know business and community leaders from all around northern Colorado and beyond. Our guests share their stories, and through it all, you'll be inspired and entertained. These conversations are real and raw, and no topics are off limits. So pop in a breath mint and get ready to meet our latest guest. Welcome back to the LoCo Experience Podcast. My guest today is Kelly Sage, Kelly Sage of the Longmont Economic Development Partnership.
Yes, nice to be here.
Welcome to the LoCo Experience Podcast.
This is awesome. Thank you.
Let's set the stage a little bit with, what is the Economic Development Partnership in Longmont? What's that look like? Is it part of the city? Is it part of the county? Who's the funders? Is it friends with the chamber? Is it enemies with the chamber?
Yeah, no, great question because it's very unique compared to everywhere else in northern Colorado.
Okay.
The Longmont Economic Development Partnership has had several names since 1981, and it's always been mostly funded by the city. So the city gives $400,000 a year. Okay. So a nice chunk of change
pays
to
your
help
salary
us.
And
pays my staff. Yeah, I wish. Yeah, we have 3 staff, so we're huge. Anyway, it's a nonprofit and traditional economic development based. Primary employment focused, not on Main Street. More the primary could be 2 people in a garage building satellites or Seagate is in our town. But
bringing money in from outside of this region.
That's right. So traditional economic development, attraction, retention. We have about 60 private funders, a lot of banks, and a lot of attorneys and service providers and primary employers that pay in and believe in the purpose. And the city stays with it and funds really our staff fees, and then the private funds everything else.
And then do you have we can give you tax breaks and stuff like that? Do you have a good toolkit in that regard as far as attracting companies?
I would say,
or it's usually in Colorado, it's kind of a medium.
Yeah, we're not so great at incentives. Yeah, look how beautiful it is.
Right.
Kind of works.
Smart workforce.
Yes. It's the same old tagline. Do you really know economic development? So it's going to be easy to explain this. But it's interesting because this is one of the last cities that hasn't taken economic development completely inside. So they only have a couple of staff working on urban revitalization, which is great. Mm-hmm. But they rely on us to bring incentive projects through the city and through their processes.
Okay.
So there's a benefit to being outside of the city in that we can run a little more lean. Our procurement is lean. If we want to hire you guys to do something, we can do that without going through a huge RFP purchasing.
I don't know what you would hire a local think tank
I don't know,
for,
but we may. Anyway.
You could pay me to start a local think tank.
I know.
There.
Well, we
awesome.
could talk about that.
Subsidized.
We need it in Longmont. But I guess the thing I don't like about being outside of the city is that I can't walk down the hall now and talk to the city manager when I need him immediately, like I used to in these other cities, or the attorneys if I need a little legal advice. It's emailing and calling, and so there's a little bit of a.
And a 3-person staff can only be so smart.
Yeah.
Even if each of you is really smart.
Right. So we're lean and mean compared to other budgets up in northern Colorado, but Longmont's fun. It's popular, and it's been really fun to explore it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and it's a heartland, right? That agrarian background is kind of a bit of a superpower in that kind of country. I'm a farm kid, so
I
I
am too.
always
I'm
have
from
to cheer
Iowa.
for that
Yeah.
kind of thing, and you grow
Yeah.
things, right?
That's right.
And that kind of mentality and ethos still kind of carries through in Longmont in a lot of ways.
I'll tell a quick story, and I don't know if I'm running us down the wrong
We tell
direction
stories here.
right
It's
away. But at one time, Northern Colorado was ranked really high for the amount of startups we were seeing
Yeah.
through and I can't remember who tracks that, but somehow Northern Colorado, Fort Collins, Loveland area really ranked high quite a few years, and they probably still do because of this ethos you're talking about. But Northern Denver, I think it was Broomfield, who called me down because I was in the Innosphere at the time.
Okay.
And they called me down to say, what's in the water up there?
Yeah, yeah.
Why is it so unique, and why are we lacking that same amount of startups? And I spent so much time on that presentation because I went, oh, we're close to all my traditional speeches to sell a company here. We're close to all the universities.
right
We
there.
have this agricultural background. Well, they do too. Well, they're closer to some universities outside of CSU.
Broomfield doesn't have a town though.
Right. Well,
Like there isn't like a downtown. There isn't like a center.
That's true.
That is part of it, I think. I don't know.
well, but what I came down to, and it might have been Westminster, but basically it was like Denver to me, North Denver,
Yeah, yeah.
asking about Northern Colorado's unique sauce, sweet sauce. And I went through everything that I sell, and they had everything, the same things. And the only thing I could come up with was, and I wrote an article way back when on the Goldilocks. We're not too big, we're not too small.
yeah.
You bump into each other in coffee shops. You might meet the president's children of CSU at their soccer game. You
Sure.
know, you're connected much quicker than you can be in the metropolis of Denver. So I don't
Yeah.
know. That's my story. So I don't know that Longmont has more of an agrarian background than anywhere up here. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Fort Collins never really had that much agriculture. It was Greeley.
Yeah. yeah, you're
And then it kind of
right.
looped down through Weld County to Longmont, and that's kind of where it
Yeah.
stopped a little bit.
Yes.
Horse farms and stuff. I love riding motorcycle through there.
Yeah, it's a great city.
What was that point you just closed on? Oh, it was the Goldilocks size.
Yeah, I
That's
believe
actually
that up
my
here.
theory with LoCo Think Tank is that, so we're a local community think tank,
Mm-hmm.
and there's that size between like 50,000 people and 250,000 people that have a true community feel.
Yes.
Is like a special place to be and to live where you can
I have goosebumps.
have enough, there's good bands and good restaurants, and you
Yeah.
can, there's 4 high schools, and you can be a fan of one of them, but really not all of them or
Yeah.
whatever. And,
Yes.
and it just has that community feel. And once it grows beyond 300,000, once you get to Colorado Springs, that's like 5 different cities that are adjacent to each other.
That's right.
That's not a
And you go
community.
15 minutes and it's a different culture altogether. I mean, you don't
Totally.
really know the vibe that you're getting.
Yeah,
In
but
Northern
when you're in
Colorado
Fort
still
Collins,
has
you're
it.
in Fort Collins. When you're in Longmont, you're in
You're in
Longmont.
Longmont.
Yeah,
That's right.
I-
So
I
it's been
get that
fun to
too.
explore. And there's an advantage in that for sure.
for sure. I agree. And especially as people trying to do great things, right? That's what primary employers are. And
Mm-hmm.
Longmont's got such a great heritage of like aerospace as well
Mm-hmm.
as manufacturing and kind of more tech-oriented stuff, right?
Yes, it's interesting because I always, being in Loveland a long time next to Fort Collins, I worked in Fort Collins as well.
Sure.
But we're sort of the stepsister to the big city.
Right.
And where the university is and a lot of the
Where the cool
action
kids
is.
here, yeah.
And I always said in the last 10 years, Loveland's starting to be cool,
Yeah.
and that's, I don't mean any shade on Loveland and its history, but it's just grown
is.
enough
Yeah.
where we have money to invest in the
Yeah.
downtown. And
Yeah.
Longmont is similar with
For
its
sure.
sister Boulder. They're right next to each other, but
Right.
I showed up in
Yeah,
Longmont.
Boulder was cool 20 years ago, almost to the point of where she's kind of old now.
Yeah, well, sorry again, Boulder, but we say in Longmont we say don't boulderize our Longmont.
Kind of,
you know?
yeah. Well, and we don't need those kind of rents to keep a startup from being able to launch, or a primary employer thinking about moving over from another state.
That's right. It's an advantage and a disadvantage. People know Boulder, so we can use that, and people know Fort Collins, we could use that
Yeah.
for Loveland. But we have some certain unique pieces that are an advantage. Truly, cost is one of them.
Let's talk a little bit about the current zone of economic development stuff. Like, what's the news in the market? There was a season when I was pretty involved in those conversations as a banker and stuff, but like, is it harder than it was? Is it easier? Is Colorado becoming more or less competitive in
I think it's
gaining-
harder. It's harder
Yeah.
because Economic
Thanks, Polis.
developers.
No, just
I don't know who to blame, but it is for a lot of reasons. We're ranked so much lower. We were always one of the top 3 states in almost everything. I mean, all in cost and doing business and popularity. I mean, just
well,
all
we had a very
things.
free workforce and things like that, right?
Yeah.
I just had somebody from state of Colorado book time with me from the treasurer's office or some, I don't forget, I could look at my calendar, to discuss the new requirements of the Colorado mandated employee savings accounts for something.
Oh.
And they need my help to get the word out.
Oh, okay.
So
It
they don't
wasn't
have to-
coming after you to regulate
No,
you.
not yet.
Okay.
But
Oh.
but even just that, they want to connect with people that are connected to the business community,
Yeah.
so that we don't have to fine you or something because of all this new regulation we're putting in place.
Ooh, scary spot
And it's
to
like,
be.
most small businesses that are doing the best they can, they'd love to, offer retirement
Don't
accounts
find 'em.
and stuff.
No.
Yeah. I'm not going to help you find them.
no.
I should probably just tell them that. Be like,
I'm
if
not
you-
a watering hole. Really, no one comes to me. No one does.
Nobody trusts me. By the way, what's the best way to avoid getting caught for not complying with your new regulations,
I still have
Johnny?
bosses that are related to the state, so I have to be good.
I know you do.
When I retire, I'll come back.
Okay.
And we'll tell the stories.
We'll tell some of the real stories. And I have no idea of your politics, honestly. We've never talked about it.
I always
so
keep it really. You won't know until I retire.
You're a ghost.
Yeah, I have to be. I have to
enough.
be. But you probably can tell as you talk to me more.
I just ordered some. So I subbed at BNI for Marzanne from Sportabout, and she's been doing my logo stuff for years.
Nice, yeah.
And I subbed for her a couple months ago, and she said, "I want to make you a hat, a LoCo think tank hat." And I was like, "I don't know what I want," but this morning I saw her, and I ordered bright red visors with the LoCo in white, and then the think tank in blue.
Cool.
So I have like a
you're
red, white, and blue visor.
American.
But at first glance, people will be like, "Is that a Trump hat?
Right,
Maybe
that's
I hate
true.
that guy." Oh wait, no, it's just some random.
You're
logo.
50-50 basically. So you're good one way, you're
Red, white,
bad
and
the
blue.
other.
It's okay to be red and blue, and I'm not. I voted for Kanye. So
Of course you did. That's awesome.
I stand by it.
But where are we going? Best
I don't
practices.
know. Best practices. Yeah. What's the scene? You said it's getting hard.
Okay. Well, and I don't like to sound wimpy or victim because economic development is such a great career. It's so
Right.
fun.
You get to schmooze with people
I've
and
had
get paid.
so much fun
For
doing
sure.
this job my whole career. But it's harder because everything's digital now.
Mm.
So the site consultants and all the businesses that used to call us, we were the concierge to the community or the
Right.
region, and we were the experts.
Now they could just Google Earth it and be like,
That's what I want. I like that. I can look for my own real estate. I can look for my own workforce stats. I can find everything we used to do as a service, and that coupled with, which is fine. I mean, it just narrows the.
what value do you add?
Well, right. The value
Right.
is still we have pocket listings. We know all the community. We have, but it's become an incentive call instead of a research call, and the ability to sell because we're all good at selling.
Right.
It kind of goes down to here. We've already chosen 2 sites, and you're one of 20 cities. And
Right.
what do you have for me? And so it's become harder in that I'm not a huge fan of incentives, never have been.
Right.
And yet we have to play that game, and they fill a gap, and they play a purpose if you vet them well.
Sure.
But that's how it's changed.
Well, and all jobs are not created equal, too, right? Like it's a fascinating. I have engaged recently with a young man, younger than me. Jonathan Irvin is his name, and he's got a new company, Rocket Soft, and it's a AI kind of company, AI software kind of operations. But in his past company, which was like a promotional products with licenses like NFL things and colleges, and it was a lot of print on demand and shipped direct, and he grew the company a ton while cutting his workforce in half. And like he was talking about that with me, how it was sometimes uncomfortable, like talking with people, because a lot of times, like government offices, even small businesses kind of compare each other by the size of their staffs. Not so bad as government offices, where it's like, ooh, let's see how big I could grow my team.
That's true. Like, grow. We need more.
Usually in small business, it's so I can grow the business.
Right.
But he was actually shrinking his team while he was growing his business, kind of somewhere at the like 30 to 50% a year on both counts.
Because of the lack of graphic designers and
automations and things. He just built
AI
things to take the human error out of things.
Yeah.
And this was before. It was like in the early automation stage.
Oh,
it was where he
interesting.
got into the whole theme of that.
He's ahead of the game.
He's been living in that ahead of the game. Yeah, that's part of my interest in like unfolding how like. I hate to not have people have jobs.
I know
but stuff's got to happen too, right?
Efficiencies will happen. I mean, I completely understand and see it coming
it's a cotton gin, hopefully.
I hope so, and I always believe in the human spirit to find a way to find jobs for everybody and fulfill that. I'm not doomsday-ish about it. In fact, last week or
hopefully
the week before, I
less
was in
people have
Chicago.
Boring jobs.
Yeah, maybe we work 3 days a week and finally, and make as much money. And
well,
who
that
knows?
would be even better. Yeah.
That's where I'm headed. But I went to Automate, the largest like robotic automation conference. It was fascinating in Chicago. And I don't typically spend a lot of money on that because I'm around there going, we're from Northern Colorado. Hey, you want to move your business? And they're just looking for customers, basically.
Right.
And so, but I got to meet all the robots from Taiwan and all over. It blew my mind.
Right.
It was fantastic, actually.
I
loved
had a couple
every
of
bit
small
of it.
experiences where I was like, oh, that's crazy. But at a conference like that, it had to be
I
over
was
the top.
exhausted because I wanted to meet everybody, and there's 15,000 vendors there. It was, Chicago's huge.
Right. Well, and is that a success as an economic developer to bring in a big robot warehouse that loads a lot of trucks every day but only has 14 employees?
I want the R&D. I want the people R&Ding
there you
the
go.
robots
Get the
and
smart people.
Yes, that's what I want. And the engineers and the people building them. That's what I want in our area.
Yeah, that makes sense. It has to be. Kind of. We have to have efficient use of space, efficient use of water.
Yep.
So the environment's challenging. Are you friendly? Like how do you play nice? Do you play nice or happy with the other communities?
I do. It's been I'm almost
You've been
30
a little around
years.
here and there, right? Innosphere.
Really,
Should we soon we'll jump in the time machine and we'll go way back.
Okay.
Because that will actually lay out your journey in a lot more.
I'd love to do that.
Precision.
Yeah. But sometimes people say you jump jobs too much.
Yeah.
But I love it now because I have all these experiences.
Right.
So I can tell that story. But yes, we play well. In fact, I was a part of the group way back when, the second to the burrito group. So if you knew Jacob and Josh and all the Fort Collins crew really jump-started it, but to try to get Weld and Larimer and all the economic developers and city managers who were involved in bringing business and retaining business to come together. So like 31 communities all coming together.
Wow.
So as David May was part of that original
I'm not
group.
surprised.
And so I jumped in there and we helped build LoCo Ready, Regional Economic Development. So now it's a going concern. In fact, they meet tomorrow in Fort Collins and they come together and it's kind of morphed to best practices.
Yeah.
From the old guard to these smaller communities and how to develop programs and
You're not
going to
show them your hot list
mistakes.
necessarily, but still have some community, have some camaraderie.
Because
help each other.
We've always for years and years and years tried to get I-25 to stop being the divide between Weld and Larimer.
Right.
We need both of them to sell it.
Well, and if
counties.
somebody doesn't quite choose Longmont, but they choose Greeley,
absolutely,
that's actually
awesome.
a win for Northern Colorado.
Yes,
right. That's a great win because there's there's going to be a X number of people commuting even from Longmont to go staff this new Greeley operation.
Yep. It used to be 35%, 33 from Fort Collins, Loveland, Greeley. We just swapped people.
Is that right? They just all drive around all over.
It was all one happy family.
We could call it a triangle train.
Well, they say Golden Triangle. What's the triangle train?
Well, if that's the triangle, we might as well have a train that just goes that little triangle.
I love it.
We can let Denver screw around with Mustangs and all that. We can just have the triangle train.
Let's do it. Let's do it. You just invented something.
Oh, there's a Simpsons episode, a monorail. Woo!
I'm seeing South Park, but you went right to Simpsons. You're more G-rated.
There's like this schmoozy sales guy that sells the whole town on, if we have a monorail here, then everybody will come to Springfield.
Well, you're sounding a lot like a developer that I know that sells the triangle
It'll
already.
Stop at Cascadia for sure.
You know who I'm talking about. Got a dream.
I think just because it'll add so much more context to this conversation, we're going to zoom not just back to your start in economic development, but I've been asking a few people lately, first memories.
Oh,
what was the youngest age from which you can pluck a few.
Oh, I got it.
Okay.
But for me, I had a lot of trauma in my childhood, which
okay.
is okay because I talk
You
very
talked about it?
openly about
Okay.
it. No, no fear to talk about it. But I think my memories are later because of some of that, and I can talk about it very openly. But my first memory is a flood. I'm from northern Iowa and Waterloo, Iowa, and I remember a huge flood. And I remember the basement was all the way filled up, and we're musicians in our family. So
Wow.
all of our albums, historic albums, and all this
Whoa.
music was down there floating. And I probably was three or four.
Yeah.
And I remember my mom saying, my dad's got to go down and shut off the breakers and stuff so we don't get electrocuted.
Right.
And I remember we all stood at the top of the stairs and watching Dad go down into the water and just thinking he would. So it was sad and scary at the time, but that's my first memory.
Wow. It's interesting. The reason I was reflecting was because when I was like 5, my parents' house burned down.
So a trauma,
Our
sort of a
furnace
scary
spun
thing.
a bearing and it put into my dad's. He reloaded gun shells or whatever, so it sparked this huge fire. And they had to get out in like moments and left all the stuff behind, kind of.
But everybody
Everybody made it out. Yep. And I have like vivid memories though of my mom carrying my baby sister and stuff. So yeah. Anyway, kinship over
trauma.
young trauma. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really think about it very much.
No, I don't think it affected me, although who knows?
Yeah, I
mean,
think at that age you just kind of wash
roll
your
with it
hands
like,
of
oh,
it.
well,
Yeah.
that happened, move on.
Yeah, and then we lived in a trailer house
Yeah,
on the same property,
exactly.
which sucked kind of, but whatever.
Yeah, similar story, yeah.
Okay, and where were you? Like, set the stage. What was your family up to? You're in
Yes.
what part of Iowa? How many siblings?
So I have 3 siblings. I'm the oldest,
Okay.
and let's see. Mom and Dad had me at 21, so too young probably. Well, I don't know if it's too young. Too young for them, knowing them. Dad is a workaholic, alcoholic, recovered now, thank goodness. But then workaholic, alcoholic, entrepreneur, always owned businesses, and he was a rock and roller. He was actually in a rock band from like just a music savant.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so I either went to bed to rock and roll or to classical piano every single night of my life.
Fascinating.
So we're all musicians. But my mom left our house overnight when I was 12. So we have a 12, a 10-year-old, and an 8-year-old in the house.
Okay.
And Dad just comes home and says, Mom's not coming back. So that's also a very early, awful
Was there
memory.
like years of fighting and
Never
stuff along
fought.
the way?
Always a party. I mean, I'm a 60s raised by 60s hippies.
What town was this? Did you say?
Oh, Waterloo, Iowa.
Waterloo. So that's like John Deere factories and
Yes,
stuff.
that's exactly.
So pretty big town-ish, not really that big.
70,000 back then. So
Kinda
big for Iowa.
Yeah, but not a huge city.
No. And exactly, John Deere Engineering was our primary employer and Rath food packing. So a little bit of Greeley, right, with Swift, and a little bit of the engineer of
right.
HP are
Yep.
similar. Anyway, so left overnight. And so we all just went, okay. And my dad's, Iowa farmer kid.
Did you
just
become
move on.
mom?
I was mom
You
from
became
then
mom
on.
at 12.
Yes. So
Were you already like a high achiever, grade A student,
Yes.
all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, disgusting.
Athlete
First
too?
cheerleader, gymnast,
Yep.
kind of individual weird sports like that. But I wish I could have done more different
Well, it wasn't
sports.
really as popular to be a girl that did stuff in those
True.
days.
I always said
like
that.
it was like there was kind of some social pressure probably to be just a a
it's
cheerleader or
true.
just a gymnast or whatever, not the volleyball team. That's a little too rough or
yeah,
whatever.
right. Very true. And I played violin. And so I was very invested in the orchestra and that.
Very
So I
cool.
was in the popular crowd and I
Yep.
was in the nerds,
Yep,
I
yep,
loved it. Anyway, growing up. So became mom, didn't know any better, although we all probably our organs were terrible because I raised my family on SpaghettiOs and things I could cook
Right.
at 12.
Mac and
Dad was
cheese.
never around. So
Yeah.
the total definition of latchkey kids.
Wow.
Detasseled early, remember
Detasseling corn. Yeah, my wife talks about that. She grew up in Iowa too.
Yes, so every summer raised money to help my kid's sister and brother pay for school fees. So I really became the parent.
Wow.
And Dad just worked by day and as an entrepreneur in his business,
Yeah.
and then went
what
and
was
rock
his
and rolled.
business?
It's like a home supply store, a big home supply store. So think
Interesting.
Lowe's or
Yeah.
Ace back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was successful until he wasn't. And
Right.
then overnight he went bankrupt in a business. I don't remember what phase of economics it was. But then we went overnight to a trailer court. So we lived in a trailer court.
Wow. And you're now 16 or something?
I think I was 15.
Wow.
And then Dad remarried and moved to Phoenix and took my brother and sister, and I said, I'm going to stay back by myself. So
when you're how old?
I was 17.
Okay.
So I
Sorry,
figured,
this isn't
no,
a laughing matter.
No,
it explains a lot about the powerful woman you've become, frankly.
Thank you.
And
I just didn't know
resiliency.
any different, you know?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, we go to the next thing.
Right. Well, and screw moving to Florida with Dad and his stupid new girlfriend. Oh, I mean, wife already.
You're right. She was the drummer in the band and very beautiful at that. But, you know, her son...
Sounds like your dad is a character, very charismatic, obviously.
He's very involved in my life, and he is...
He's been sober for a while,
He's been sober for 30 years,
Awesome. Good for him.
and we have a great... He lives in Loveland.
Shout him up by name if you'd like to.
Luke Colheat.
Hey, Luke.
And he sings in the church, and he's very involved. He's still very musical.
Redemption is possible.
Yes, yes, it is. Yes, it is. He's been a wonderful force in my life for business and for overcoming.
Oh, your instincts for business, I'm sure, were sharpened. You're an observer kind of person.
Yes, I called him for every major move I made. Yeah. So moving on, I'm trying to think. I don't know there's a lot going on.
17-year-old. Where do you live, in the trailer?
No, so I moved in with a
friends?
friend, family.
Yeah.
And Dad and everybody moved off. My mom
So
had
you're
already
an informal
moved.
foster kid, basically.
I guess they count us as couch surfers in high school. I was in the homeless count.
Yeah.
In that high school, which I didn't know that at the time.
So it wasn't a family. You were just another.
I was in the family, but they treated me very different. I mean, I was the kid who lived in a room
semi-unwelcome.
Yes.
Yes, you can stay here, but don't
use too much toilet paper. I was actually told that. You're using, whatever. I mean, I was careful. So I worked the third shift at a Happy Chef. So I'd go to high school, participate, 4.0 student, whatever. I did good.
Played the violin,
did all these great things. And then I would go home to this house and then go at 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. and work at a diner.
Wow.
Downtown in a sketchy part of town, and people would pull me on their laps and go, hey, are you on the menu? I mean, all these things that I had to grow up at really fast and say, I'm going to slap your ass if you pull me on your lap.
And before you were 15, your dad was, at least from outside world, like this hugely successful business person and
rock band. I mean, he played with the Hollies and the Yardbirds, Crosby, Stills and Nash. He was a starter band. I mean, he was big 60s national band.
From the outside world's perspective, he was this amazing guy.
Yeah.
And then it all came crumbling around, and then you came out of that ash. Pretty wild.
So I left so I worked that third shift every weekend through high school somehow and got good grades. And then the day after graduation, I got in my little Subaru, which was fitting. And I said, I'm going to either move back to Colorado or to Colorado where my mom was, Loveland, Colorado. Or I'm going to go to Phoenix where my dad was because I wanted to be back by family, my siblings. And I chose Loveland just like I didn't know.
Had you been?
Yeah, I had been. I'd skied and been. I had an aunt in Fort Collins.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, what the heck? So I get in my car, drive out here with $1,000, walk up to CSU, and go, and no parent help.
Right.
I'm like,
How
can
do
I get in here? I literally walked up to financial aid and go, can I get into CSU?
I have pretty good grades.
I don't like a 4.0.
Did you take the SAT or ACT?
Yeah, I did the ACT. I had good grades. They were like, okay, of course you can come here, and here's some Pell Grant information. and they go, do you have any hobbies or expertise? I go, I play the violin. Walked over to the music hall in the Oval, and I saw signs that said scholarships tomorrow, literally like that next day. And somehow I got in, performed and got a scholarship. So I limped my way through CSU with 3 jobs, and
that's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, and you felt. So I moved here on a Friday night. I went down to old Chicago's.
Yeah.
I had a job that started Monday morning, but no place to live and no friends. And I met up with a group that was celebrating somebody's birthday, and they're like, "Oh, you just moved here? You got to come pub crawl with us for Katie's birthday or whatever." And I just
welcomed you.
Yeah, they just welcomed me. It just like you just walk up to the window and you're like, "Can I go to
come
college here?"
Yeah.
And anyway, I'm just noticing a couple of parallels in our stories, like that feeling of huge welcoming and appreciation.
Saved my life, really, because I mean,
for sure. What would you have done?
I don't know. I don't know.
Were you living with your mom? I guess.
I moved back in with my mom. I hadn't seen my mom much since I was 12.
Right.
And so we're
Did
strangers.
you talk on the phone with her?
Yeah, a little bit. Wrote letters back then, but not very close. So we bonded.
Long distance calling was expensive back then. Right?
I didn't really. I think I saw her 4 times in that
Wow.
amount of time.
Wow.
So basically, I was a roommate there until I could then find friends and
Wow.
move out back out.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's just so contrast. Like we've got these parallels, but also, my family was very just stable.
Oh yeah.
You know,
No stability in my
Yeah,
house.
like
No.
the town where my dad grew up is basically the same town as it is now.
Oh.
And that existence in North Dakota was, just a stable kind of thing.
Yeah. Lovely. It's
Anyway.
a lovely. It's a lovely memory, but not. It's tainted for a
Yeah,
little.
for sure. So you go to study what?
Business.
Yeah.
I think
Just
that
'cause
sounds good.
Dad was a
Yeah.
business
What
guy,
do I
kind
know?
of. And did you pick up the fiddle too, so you could actually play with bands here locally?
I never did. I still want to
'cause-
do that if they'll take this old lady.
Really?
I'm going to fiddle. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
I-
know some people I could introduce you
Okay.
to. Yeah, I know some fiddle bands that need somebody once in a while.
Okay. Yeah. I'm down.
Like, obviously it's a far different kind of play, right? But would it?
People think the violin is different than the fiddle.
No, it's the same
Oh, you
instrument,
know
right?
that. So it's the same instrument.
Right.
But it is very different style.
But could you like read fiddle music?
Yes.
And just play it?
I could if you show me
Give me
music.
a little practice. Yeah.
I need to
you
practice.
can do what
It's
the
been a
music
while.
says.
But I was raised. I taught Suzuki violin. I was always a classical
Okay.
violinist. So
Yeah, yeah.
I have to have music. The bad thing about just doing a fiddle from early is that you could play without any music. You could just do it.
Right.
But I have to have music.
Right.
And then I can play.
So if you're a fiddle band operator out there and you need somebody,
Yes.
look up Kelly. She's on LinkedIn, Kelly Sajay.
Sage. And I prefer to sing even over violin now. So I
Okay,
can
that's
do-
awesome.
yeah.
I didn't know you did that.
Yeah.
I also enjoy singing.
Okay, we'll do
you
after
have,
this. We'll
do you have like a 4,000 song inventory that if
if you give me the words, I'll sing anything.
Yeah, well, and a lot of them you can kind of sing along if you get a little bit of words here and there.
Absolutely, yeah.
We are twins.
Yes, you probably are a cousin. We kind of look alike.
Okay, so you're studying business. You're still getting good grades. You're
Yeah.
working on the side too. You said you
yeah.
had 3 jobs in
Yeah,
college too.
I did all the books for the clubs at CSU.
Okay.
So I worked at the student center, did all the record keeping. So I had a natural finance tendency. So I did that, and then I was a Seagram's girl on the side. So I went to the liquor stores and grocery stores and
Right.
pushed Seagram's back then, and I didn't have to wear scantily. I wasn't scantily
You didn't
dressed,
have
but
to.
I did a little bit. No. I didn't. Anyway, but I did that.
They just bought it more.
They bought more when I was there. Yeah. Let's see. What was my third job? Oh, I waited tables all the way through. All the way through college.
Any favorite places that you waited tables?
In Loveland, the Summit.
The Summit.
It was a fancy crab and steak place in the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where was that? Like,
It's up
right downtown?
34 up the canyon on the way to the canyon, very
Oh,
west of town. It's now
interesting.
like a dental office.
I never experienced the Summit.
You're too young. It was old. I mean, I was
I
there.
got here in '99.
This was 86 to 90-ish, 92, 91.
How old are
I'm
you?
58.
Oh, dang, girl. I thought I was
Yeah.
probably just a little older than you.
No, I'm old. Well, that's not too old, but it's kind of, I feel like I'm 29.
You're approaching middle age.
I'm
yes.
definitely approaching
I'm
middle
definitely
age.
very mature for my age, and
Yeah.
I'm glad you are as well, despite your years of quasi-government service.
Yes, they took a lot of age. They aged me quite a bit.
Well, you've resisted well. Tell me about like what's next. Like, and like, was school fun, easy? What was that college experience for you? You were couch surfing until you could get, or you were with your mom couch surfing, and then what was that move out? What was that?
Oh, just easy as soon as I could. I mean,
Like 3 months of saving
I
money
was-
and I'm out of here.
Yeah, I mean, remember, Mom left us at 12, so I have this heartburn, even though I've forgiven her. But how do you do that? How do you leave 3 little sweet kids? I never would do that. So
Yeah.
she had her story. Is another video, of telling
we'll
her story is
come
so
around to that
hard.
another
Hardest
time.
life of any, could be a book.
I'm sorry.
So I understood. Now I understand. But then I was like, okay, thank you for helping me, but I'll be moving on.
Yeah.
And
So it wasn't just your dad's fault that she left. She also had her own challenges.
Oh, she had again, her story is horrendous. The worst I've ever heard in my 58 years of anyone's story.
Oh my goodness.
So
yeah.
I had 2 broken people a little bit
Yeah.
that were beautiful, wonderful people, but weren't capable of being
Yeah.
parenting. They just
Yeah.
weren't.
You have a lot of grace for them in
Yes.
that, it seems.
I do.
Which is cool. like it's not always easy to come around to that.
No, I always had it. I always forgave really easily, unlike my brother and sister. That's a whole different story too. So no, I think that's a best practice I could impart. Like, don't hold on to shit.
Yeah, leave the past in the pasture.
Let
is
it
what
go.
I like to say.
That's right. Let it go.
So anyway, you have a first job to come around to.
Yes.
What were you aiming at? Where'd you land?
I landed, I have a great first interview out of CSU story where it was a military man, but he was hiring. I remember him telling me he's from the military, and he acted like it, but he hired me, they set you up at a business school with interviews.
Oh.
And so I interviewed back then, it would have been 90, a lot of oil and gas business companies hiring out of CSU, but I interviewed with a telecom business because it was also after Ma Bell broke up.
Oh, right.
So that split all these thousands of little
It's so hard for me to relate to somebody a
companies.
little older than me.
Yeah.
I had you stuck in a few, anyway. I
Yeah,
digress.
no, it's probably a decade
Yeah.
earlier, so about everything.
Well, I'm
maybe.
51.
Okay.
So,
Almost.
5 years, 6 years, whatever.
Yeah.
But a little different, right? Like
Totally, yeah.
as soon as I got into my first job, I had an email and I had, a cell phone shortly thereafter
Oh, no, yeah,
and whatever.
no.
But you actually entered the workforce before all that stuff.
Right. Yeah, before
Yeah.
all of it. Yeah, in fact, yeah. Anyway,
I digress.
so, no, interviewed with this guy, and he said, what do you know about sales? And he was really hard on me. And I'm like, well, I'm coming out of college, so I don't have a lot of background in sales, but who are you to say I can't do something? And I got up and walked out. And they hired me.
That's awesome.
And he said it was a test.
Yeah.
The person who wouldn't stand for that abuse was the one I wanted to hire.
That's pretty cool.
And so somehow I had more confidence then than I do now, but I just got up and went, screw you, dude. I'm
Right.
gonna
I've been through a
do
lot.
great things. I know I probably
Right.
had lived more life than him, even though he's a military man.
right.
But that's what he was looking for. He was
Interesting.
trying to abuse people to the point of
Yeah.
not breaking.
I'll show you.
Right. And so then he wanted me
he
for
was trying
sales.
to build a chip on people's shoulders.
Yeah. So he's like, this girl can deal with any kind of rejection in
Dig it.
sales.
Like it. So, like, what was that like?
Sold telecom, got into, but
So
in
you're going door to door or telephoning people and saying, "Hey, do you
thousands
want to
of
switch
calls
this up?"
for every CEO would finally listen to me, and I'd go to his place and her place or whoever and sell them telecom services.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Hated that job and moved.
It was kind of the Wild Wild West, though, right? Because Ma Bell had been split up. And
yeah,
whatnot.
everybody, all the entrepreneurs in the world were looking for a cheaper
Right.
system
Yep,
finally. you know?
yep.
And so since then, I did that for about 10 years. And
Oh, wow.
I went down to Phoenix, and every few years, someone would come in and go, well, MCI bought us now. Remember MCI
Right.
WorldCom? So everybody, we'd walk through, and 10 of you have made it into our job, and everybody else has got canned.
Right.
And so now you've made the cut. And I did that like 3 times, and they started to oligopoly again, right? They started becoming big,
Yeah.
and all the little guys got bought up.
Right. Trying to turn back into Ma Bell.
Yeah. So did that for a while, and then met my husband and down in Phoenix, and we moved up to. I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to go back to CSU. I wanted to get my master's. I didn't think I needed a PhD to teach college, but
Yeah.
I did.
So I met you as a Peters.
Yes,
You-
this
that
was
was
my
not your-
original husband, Scott Peters.
Okay, so that wasn't even your maiden name. I
No.
didn't realize. Okay.
I have a very Danish maiden name, Kjelde Kolhid,
Kelly?
KJOL. Long.
I just wrote. No, the Danish is different than the Dutch.
Yes.
I just wrote about the Dutch Revolution. Reflections on Liberty was my blog last month.
Oh, I'll have to read
And
it.
my great grandma was a Swanson.
Okay.
From
See, we are probably
the Dutch
related
Republic.
somewhere up there.
Well, you're Danes, we're Dutch, so like you got the
Close
cooler
enough.
country. Yeah. we just have this lowland marshes with windmills.
Well, that's true. You're a little more. We're more Viking,
You're
like
Vikings,
kill
yeah.
everybody.
Right, exactly. We're like hey, we just want to be Calvinists and be left alone.
That's awesome.
But we did build the Dutch East India Company, which was kind of a banger of a business back in
That
the
is a
day.
banger of a business.
A little more organized than the
Yeah,
Danes.
pillaging.
I digress. So okay, I didn't realize you had
So husband,
a husband.
married Scott here in Colorado and had 2 beautiful kids. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. And so this is circa me now.
What does that mean?
What are we 2000?
So that was 96.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yep. And then did you come, or what was the next stop for you from a career standpoint?
Yeah, so I had a great job leaving Phoenix, the optical shop of Aspen, an Asian, well, it's an American company, but all the really high-end optics wear. So
In
I did
Aspen?
all the, they have a shop in Aspen.
Okay.
So that was my way. I was the head of marketing for this firm and doing the trade shows in New York and LA.
Gotcha.
I left telecom. And
Yeah,
did
that
eyewear
was your
for
way
a
of transitioning into another kind of
a field,
lady banger
career,
kind of a
yeah.
career path.
Such a fun job. Oh, gosh, fun job. But anyway, but then I'm like, I'm going to be a teacher. I've always wanted to do this. I'm going back to Colorado, and I'm going to get my master's at CSU. And I just had this vision, and so I went to Aspen because I could get a job with this company selling glasses, and to get my year residency to be cheaper to go back for my master's.
Right.
Then, as I discovered, you really need a PhD to teach at college.
Okay.
That's my naivety of
These
just
days,
charging
anyway.
ahead without really doing much research. Let's move to Aspen. And lived in Aspen for a while, and Scott cooked for Don Johnson, the crazy movie star at the time.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Like as a private chef?
private chef.
Oh,
so we had
wow.
some great stories from
What
that
a
time of
wild-
life.
So tell me about Scott a little bit, because I don't know that I ever met him.
Yeah, no, not a healthy relationship, but had a lot of fun. Two great kids.
Reflections of your father in some respects or something?
Yeah, you do that, don't you? Yeah, you marry your father. Very charismatic, had some mental issues. So, not a healthy 18 years, but stuck it out till I realized it wasn't going to be great.
Yeah.
But we had some good times,
Yeah.
and we really do have two amazing children out of that. But
Yeah.
I finally found my way out of that unhealthiness, and that's when I
Probably about the time you and I met
yes,
the first time.
and then we were starting Innosphere.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah,
brings us
because
right up
I
to
didn't
that.
realize you were a divorcee. I realized you were a single woman at the time.
Yes.
And so, anyway, I digress.
Yes.
I didn't realize you weren't Kelly Peters
No, I was Kelly Peters at the beginning of it.
of our relationship, but not at the
Yes.
beginning of all of it. You were Keltice? What did you say?
My maiden name?
Yeah.
Colheed.
Colheed.
Yes.
Colheed.
Killed.
Colheed.
Yes, I love that name, but it's long gone.
So you stumbled, tell me about that transition. You said you needed your more than a master's to get there. Did you just kind of stumble into the Innosphere and you're like, I want to be a part of this?
Oh, there's a
Or,
lot of story between then and I jumped in.
So you're
there.
Aspen. No, I was asking you about Don Johnson and your husband and stuff. And
There's so many
transitioned.
stories.
Right. That's why we go 2 hours, because otherwise it's just too short.
Yeah, everybody's life has to be so packed. You know, with
Kinda,
great
right?
stories.
Well, and living in Aspen, gotta be so cool.
It was a spectacular place, very expensive. I think then we paid $900 for a basement apartment in El Jebel. So for those who know that
Yeah, yeah.
whole canyon area, we couldn't afford Aspen, of course.
Right.
I mean, I'm working selling eyeglasses now from my big corporate job down to that. And
Right.
I think Scott at first had a job at Planet Hollywood waiting tables so we could just get our residency. And we lived in the basement of this guy who was a chef for whatever the big, heavy private club is there for all the wealthy stars.
I would have no idea.
So we're in this guy's basement, and my husband's is we weren't married then, but he's a very fine chef. He had always he had country clubs and great training.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's like, why don't you just try out? Don Johnson and Melanie Griffith just divorced, and they need a chef. Melanie's taking the chef. So he's like, I'll go try out. And
Hell
he
yeah.
got it. So now he's the private chef for a major movie star,
Right.
and this is early 90s.
And you're like
so-
there, and he's inviting friends over regularly and stuff.
Wow. What was nice about that job is caviar would make its way home, or Dom Perignon.
So you didn't get invited to the parties?
Oh, I
and stuff.
did.
Yeah.
Yes, there's one prominent 4th of July party where Dakota Johnson, who's now famous, was like 10
It's
or
like
whatever.
Don's son, I guess.
No, Dakota Johnson is 50 Shades of Grey. Kurt.
I don't know.
Ask your wife.
I'm bad at the kind of trivia.
She's famous now.
Most trivia I'm really good at.
Not Hollywood.
Not
Well, she's
Hollywood.
famous. So she was at the,
Hi, Dakota.
sitting on my
Sorry, no
lap,
slight
and
intended.
she's beautiful. Anyway, back then she was a kid, and who's Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas? Who wrote
Oh, I do know that one.
This is my age showing.
Uh,
He was there,
yeah,
crazy,
cool guy.
with like a 10-foot bong, and Dakota Johnson and all these. I mean, he was divorced, Don
Right.
Johnson, so there was a lot of crazy porn stars from LA being flown in. I have great stories from this.
So if you weren't like a quasi-government official.
Yes.
No, you already told me actually before the show that you wouldn't smoke marijuana anyway.
No,
because I
I
always
don't
have that
smoke
available.
pot.
But if we had other party drugs here, you might.
Maybe. Yeah, I could tell you some stories.
About back in those
But
days.
I knew Don
anyway.
Johnson, and he was a very fine, nice individual.
Was he?
Yeah, he was nice. We met a lot of really cool stars and fun times.
I was actually thinking, this is terrible. I hate to confess it. Jill, if you watch this, please forgive me. But I was thinking if I'm Don Johnson and I'm recently divorced, like, I wouldn't hire a dude to be my chef.
Oh,
I
true.
would totally hire a hot chick.
No, he flew in on the plane. The butler would call and say, Scott,
Anyway.
we've got 8 women coming in for the guest house.
He had no shortage of chicks
No,
anyway. I guess
no,
that makes
there was a
sense.
different
I've always
person on his
had,
arm.
just a 23 years married or whatever.
You think
if
that
I had
way.
one woman, that was an abundance.
Yes.
So I've never had like access to it.
No, he
Anyway.
was a playboy for sure at
I
that
digress.
time.
So you're living this Aspen world.
Yeah.
What's chapter next?
Next chapter, I came up to Fort Collins and had a hard time finding a job. It was 95.
And why?
I think I don't remember the climate. Well, think about it. I've only had, I
You were
guess by
still
then
with
I had a pretty good
Scott,
resume. I was
guess.
still with Scott.
Yep.
And I realized I wasn't going to get my PhD. I want to make money.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm the breadwinner.
Right.
I'm going to make some money and start my career. And so I got on with the Marriott and quickly became like head of sales and
Oh, wow.
catering
Yeah,
at
yeah.
the Marriott full service hotel, and did hospitality for a few years. And that was fun too.
Yeah.
But still didn't, for me,
Was Craig
didn't
Campbell
completely
there at the
scratch
time?
my. That sounds familiar.
He ended up being a State Farm guy, but I know he was at the Marriott before that.
It would have
He's
been
in my Rotary
Aspen
Club.
95 to 99.
Yeah. Anyway.
And then worked at Ptarmigan for a while. But that at Ptarmigan Country Club, doing marketing and sales.
Which was young at the time, right?
Yeah, it was pretty brand new.
Yeah.
And I was, I don't know how old, 98. I don't know how old I was at that, 30, turning almost 30, 29. A gal named Carol Garton, who ran the Loveland Economic Development.
Okay.
I'd worked with her a lot for events, and she said, "You have a business degree, you have a sales background, you understand marketing, 'cause you do
Yeah.
marketing here. You are great consulting." Like, she saw in me something,
Yeah.
and said, "The Loveland Small Business Development Center is hiring a director."
Oh, wow.
I'm like, "Well, I've only run my own little marketing business. I can't
Right.
coach entrepreneurs yet." She's like, "Oh, come on." So I applied and I got the
It'll
job.
be great.
And I remember people walking in much more sophisticated than me going, "Talk about cash flow projections." And I had to learn on the job. I mean, I had to literally go, "Let me
Yeah.
get back to you. I'm a professional. I know what I'm doing," but I didn't.
Right.
And
Oh,
she
that's
gave me a
cool, though.
chance. So this was my entree into economic development.
Well, and you were back into mom mode.
Oh, yeah, I was
Kinda.
having babies. I had a 2-year-old and a...
Well, yeah, but also like you were in that mom mode, but also like when your mom left and you became the mom of the house,
Yeah.
you became kind of the mom of these small
Small
businesses that were
businesses.
looking for help. You're
Oh, I
like,
took it so
shit, I don't know
seriously.
anything about cash flow projections, but
I'm going to be the
I guess
best.
I'm not going to have to learn.
No, and I knew finance by my,
Right.
I got A's in finance and accounting.
Right.
Just was intuitive.
And the
from
internet was around by then, so you could learn
Just
stuff a
starting.
little better,
Yeah.
right, than you had been able to.
That's right.
Fascinating.
And so I just put an ad in Loveland
You know
paper.
what's funny? So who was the gal that ran that place for a lot of
Kathy,
years and retired maybe 5 years ago?
Yeah,
or
she
3
went
years
on
ago?
to the Innosphere. I followed her path.
No, but just a few years ago, somebody left that
Oh.
had been at the SBDC for a long time. You said Kathy.
Well, Kathy Start was the founder.
No,
of
but
it.
later. that-
Robin,
No, after. Anyway,
Kat, probably Kat.
before Kat. So before Kat. Anyway, the gal that ran it before Kat, she asked me if I might want to become the director of the Loveland SBDC at one point when I was running a local
Interesting.
think tank and I was a few years in and I was
You would be great
swimming
at
around.
it.
Well, but I was like, dude, I'm trying to like grow this business. I'm sorry.
Yeah, right. You had dreams to do your entrepreneurial thing
yeah,
instead of coach
exactly.
'em.
I was a few years in,
Yeah.
and whatever. It was probably, I don't know, it was years later.
Interesting.
But anyway, that's another Twinskies thing.
Yeah, we do
both
have a
got
lot. I
approached
think
by
I
somebody
knew that
about
from you before.
being in that space.
Well, I jumped at it and I
Yeah, it
loved
seemed
it.
like a great opportunity.
I love that job so much. And I mean, I did it 7.5 years. My resume,
Did you?
it's like the longest job I've had. And
Gotcha.
so, yeah, I loved it. I served like 4 people a day at the end of my career. So it was thousands of people with mostly startups
Yeah.
with ideas. And I just got, at
Well,
that
you can-
point, so good. I could spot them walking in. I'm like, you're going to make it. You're not. I'm sorry, but I could tell.
I always
still
say my
can
special
tell.
talent is identifying special talent.
Yes.
And as a banker, it was like, it was fun. When banking was still fun, I could bet the bank's money that somebody was going to make it.
Yeah.
And I didn't screw up very often, which is
Yeah.
cool.
Good intuition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Another Twinsy thing. Oh my
Anyway, I
gosh.
digress. This is like a fan fest here. This is gross. Now that I know you're old, though, there's
Yeah,
no worry. Just kidding. So you did that for a long time. That had to have led to the Innosphere.
Well, the next
Not even
was
yet.
Greeley. I did economic gardening. I followed the god of economic gardening was in Littleton, Colorado for the world. And I'm a huge fan of economic gardening. I drink.
This is like a concept.
It's a concept
a
of
book.
for entrepreneurs.
Okay.
And it took off all over the world. He had followers, but he was in Littleton, so I became friends with him. Chris Gibbons. He's
okay.
my true life mentor. Chris Gibbons, economic gardening. And, So he had this
I'm just
idea
looking to see
of
if does he have other books as well?
probably
I feel like I've read something that's not that. I was looking at my bookshelf to see
to
if
see if
maybe
he's up there. I don't even
think
know
so.
if he wrote a book, but he definitely invented this concept of it's anti-incentive. It's grow your own economic gardening. Grow your businesses that you have in your community. Don't poach others from outside. Let's
Right.
just spend time on the ones we have.
Right.
That was his concept. I fell in love with him and his concept and so I studied. I became a master, and eventually we were consultants on the side for all of his companies, the states that would hire him to
to try to do
Florida
more
was
of that
huge.
there.
Do more of that.
Well, look at Florida now.
Heavy-duty research, market research. Oh, you can't blame me for that. Well, anyway, so that got me to Greeley, because Greeley said, we want economic gardening, we want an expert. I was at the point of, I could tell people walking in the door whether they'd make it or not, which is not, I was cynical.
Yeah.
And you can't coach entrepreneurs if you don't have it in your heart to really let them flourish. And I was trying to save some from I was at the point of like, please don't start that business. You're going to go bankrupt. Please don't start that. So I became cynical, and I knew it was time to go.
Yeah.
Get someone in here with the love of it and more uplifting. And I'd seen too many failures at that point, and
it's hard.
positives. But.
It's hard.
So I moved on to Greeley. I was only there a year and a half because you had a hard time. The head of the upstate Colorado, who do you know, Rich Werner, who's the head of upstate Colorado?
Bit.
Okay, well, the gentleman at the time saw me and said, what did you do? What are you doing hiring her? She knows as much about economic development as I do about rebuilding motors, and I know nothing about cars. So that fired me up, and
This was the predecessor to
yes,
Rich.
Rich is wonderful.
Okay, good.
But that was the first city. The cities at that time, it was 2006, all hired their first economic development people inside a city.
Okay.
So Mike was in Fort Collins. Mike
Freeman.
Freeman, Fort Collins. Betsy Hale in Loveland. Boulder had Francis Draper. All right, rest in peace, Francis. And I was in Greeley, and we all got together and said, what are we going to do in these cities? They've never had economic development programs. So we built them.
Interesting.
So I went to Greeley, but didn't get accepted in Greeley. I was not a Greeleyite, had not been raised there.
Your Iowa roots didn't help.
I thought it would, but they looked at me like this little cheerleader.
Bring your mic just a little closer for me.
Okay, but they looked at me and just like, what does she know? And he kind of made it hard.
Yeah.
So at the same time, the roots of Innosphere were starting.
Well, and probably yet Greeley wasn't ready for powerful women as much as Fort Collins and Loveland were.
Probably not.
I suspect.
No,
knowing what I know a little bit about the government background and all the stuff, right? I don't know.
Who's the head of Hensel Phelps? I'm terrible with names this afternoon.
Oh, I can't remember.
Wonderful man.
Yeah.
But he at that time was
T something.
Bob Twyton.
Twyton, yep.
So I was in board meetings, and they would look down and say, you're taking minutes. And I'm like, I'm on this board.
Right.
So it was that kind of uphill battle there that I realized it would take me years to get anywhere here.
Yeah.
So Mike Freeman was courting me from Fort Collins to work for the city of Fort Collins, and I had this dream of I was unable to help so many technological entrepreneurs.
Okay.
So people out of CSU that had come to me from Loveland, HP,
Yeah.
people laid off with.
Oh, totally. Fort Collins has been blessed by layoffs from HP because
Yes.
they don't want to leave.
They don't want to
The
leave.
only way they can stay here is to start a business.
That's right. So we
happened
garnered all of that. There were
dozens
so
of
many
times.
movements at that time, especially post 2000,
Yeah.
the bubble burst.
Yep.
And you know what? You have two PhD, and you have all these patents, and you don't know how, but you know nothing
But you
about
can't spin
business.
up a business, yeah.
And so I saw so many of those that we weren't outfitted correctly for. So it used to be Rocky Mountain Innovation Initiative,
Yeah,
RMI
I remember
squared.
when it was on the other side of Mason Street there on Mountain.
That's right. So we weren't even there. I mean, I guess
It was
Kathy
just
had
an
an
idea and
office.
yeah.
Yes, and
Yeah,
Kathy
yeah.
Kregel is her name, who deserves credit for that concept. But she only had 3 clients the whole time. Great, successful bio companies. But we scaled it. It was, I think, Mike's vision to scale it. And then they brought me in, and I was the
But
operations
you were already thinking
person.
about it, kind of.
Yeah, we were already strategizing for to make it a regional community thing.
Yeah.
So I formed the
We could probably have a whole conversation about the spinning up of
Oh, it was awesome.
that venture.
That's my favorite thing to do is spin up nonprofits. I mean, scale them to the point they're going and then get
Yeah.
out because I
Yeah.
get bored. So scale that up, form the 501c6, and raised money, but helped Mike build got funding for the building.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, in the meantime, we took all the buildings that we could downtown from the city and plugged as many entrepreneurs as we could in there. I mean, I had
Yeah.
them coming out of one
Every
of the
open
buildings
office
on
they
Mountain.
had.
Yes, used to be a methadone clinic. So people would
Yes.
come in for their methadone, and I'd be like, it's an entrepreneurial setup now.
Right.
Go somewhere else. So, yeah, I have all these stories about doing that. And
Is
that was
there
fun.
one entrepreneur or entrepreneurial story from that season that especially stands out that's become something memorable?
C0. I love Guy Babbitt.
Oh yeah, Guy Babbitt. He was a
He's
member of LoCo for a
fantastic.
while. I'd love to have him back. Really.
C0, mostly companies that scaled to the point and then either failed or, I hate to even mention names. I'm thinking of ones that shouldn't have. Anyway, yeah, I better not go there.
Yeah, that's all good. It's all
Mostly
good.
my memories are of we poured a lot of energy into those companies, and for a lot of reasons, I don't know that they really understood you've got a $700 an hour CPA that drove from Colorado Springs to
Right.
give you advice. We just like this cheap rent down here. I mean,
Right.
typical entrepreneurs, you want it all, but you
It
don't want
seems
to pay.
like it's been coming around a bit. Since those early days. It's always been an interesting. We've had local think tank chapters meeting at the Innosphere since, probably 2015. Thank you,
Yeah.
Innosphere.
Yeah.
You're great hosts.
Yeah.
And what we do is kind of a lot different, and the Sage Advisors groups
Oh yeah.
they're awesome, and they don't have kind of like what you were just talking about. We don't really know how to help these tech startups and stuff.
No.
And just because you worked for HP for a while,
No.
doesn't really mean you know how to help a tech startup either.
We learned a hard lesson because another thing we had to do at that time was garner the hundreds and hundreds, a database of hundreds and hundreds of former HP people who wanted to be a part of the 3 people that were going to make it. So it's like, I can't, buddy, you're calling me every week to get a consulting gig, and I have nothing for you
Right.
yet. So Doug, losing his last name, Johnson.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
a lot of Doug Johnsons,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Tech Doug was a great
Oh,
volunteer.
not finance Doug
Not
Johnson.
finance Doug. He
Oh,
came
yeah.
later with
Yep, yep.
Mike. He's in the Mike posse. And he was around, and we tried to do efforts to raise funding for entrepreneurs back then.
Finance Doug Johnson invited me to University Connections way
yes.
back when, which was my first real brush with smart people.
Community smart people.
Right,
Yeah, right.
right. I was like a senior vice president at a small bank. I had really no
Yeah.
business being in the room, but people thought that I added value to the conversation, which
sure
I
you
was super
did.
honored by.
Sure you did.
But having been invited to that conversation was actually a really special time for me
Yeah.
back in those days.
The juices were flowing for sure in Fort
Yeah,
Collins.
there was a lot going
we
on,
were
and I was
rocking
curious
and
about it.
rolling.
Yeah, and
I mean, it was great.
Yeah, it
and they
was
still
super
are,
fun.
and they've morphed and scaled and done wonderful things. But
But it isn't like the same.
it's not the same.
Yeah.
You had hundreds of people wanting to give something, and you just
Yeah.
had to find all their special qualities. And that's why Sage was great. But what we learned in the end, what I have learned now, is that you can't just come out of a firm in an upper middle management role and relate to entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
It's very different. And back then I thought it wasn't. So we took all that we could, all the advice we could, and lots of effort, but it's still a struggle around here to have enough critical mass.
Your dad probably would have had better advice for some of those startup entrepreneurs.
Very good point. It's a very good point.
Even from a different total
Scrappy,
industry,
a
but
complete
scrappiness.
scrappy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is that your name is Kelly Sage now.
I know. I didn't know it back then.
So this is circa, I guess this is mid 2000s.
Now we're
2005, coming up to 2010 by the time the
2012.
building's built and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Picked out the carpets, picked out the lights, did all
you're
that
kind
stuff.
of everything.
No one
if
knows
Mike
me now,
wants it to
but
happen.
yeah.
Kelly's who makes
No,
it happen.
Mike didn't.
Kinda.
He was inside City Hall as the CFO.
But he didn't even know what was happening.
No, he
You
was
were-
on the board helping finance it. Like, what do
You
I know
were-
about entrepreneurs back then?
Yeah, yeah.
He really didn't.
Got
and
it.
he had to learn it, and he loved it, and now he's still there.
Yeah.
So
What a fascinating, you had a couple of those seasons where you get put into a place where you really have no idea how to do this
I
job.
love that.
All the way.
I love that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I love building things.
Yeah. So, what was the chapter after Innosphere then? I don't really...
They called me. I was having a hard time with some of the leadership direction, and I won't. I'll stop there.
Mike's,
And
I've heard, can I say a phrase? I won't say it out loud, but there was an old boss I had. Somebody said of him, never heard a good idea that wasn't his.
yeah.
And I felt that way a little bit around some of that leadership at times.
Yeah.
Like
For
that.
me, and I'm not a feminist really, because I have men who have helped me. I mean, my best mentors are all men.
Yeah.
But it was an old guard in
Yeah.
Fort Collins worse than it was in Greeley. And I couldn't handle that. I had a man once tell me at a top that said, those women are never invited to meetings again, even though they were brilliant people. They're never invited again. They talk too much. And so I'm this is the generation
Yeah,
just
yeah.
right before, and it's changed a lot.
I feel you.
But I just said, screw you.
Right.
We're going to talk. I'm inviting those women to the conversation.
I was a banker for 15 years. And in that journey, I had at least 3 female colleagues, mostly that were peers that had fought through a ton of stuff to become lenders like me.
Yeah.
And I was made a lender in my second year of being a banker.
Right.
Right. Went through a training program. Now I'm a lender. But they were like, Kurt, you're such not a bigot,
Yeah.
mansplainer kind of asshole like most of this culture in
Yes.
banking at that time was, now 30 years ago, 25 years ago.
Right.
And I'm sure it was kind of
It
the
was
same.
awful. It was awful, frankly.
sorry to
I
say.
mean, I went home. It was an awful, probably the best time of my life because I
And it's
loved
no one
what
person,
I did.
it's just a bro club, right?
It's a bro club. It's still a bro club.
Just a gross bro
There's
club.
still a gross bro club up here. So I got out, and I was recruited by the top banker in Loveland at the time to come back to Northern Colorado Economic Development and be the VP and help, because I had seen now Loveland, Greeley, and Fort Collins and knew a lot of those
the
businesses.
regional scope.
The other thing I did while I did the Innosphere, I was hired part-time to be inside the city to do business retention. So I got to go to all the businesses I could and study
Yeah.
the airport.
Yeah.
And so I did traditional economic
Wow.
development and built the Innosphere. It was a part-time job of doing both.
Yeah.
Also got to start the GIS Association and run the Bioscience Association. So
Awesome.
now I'm in with all these business leaders.
Your network in a
was
crazy
great
way.
back then, for sure. It's changed.
Yeah.
Because as I get older and you become more of the leader of an organization, then you have staff doing all those
Right.
conversations, and yeah.
So somewhere along this journey, somewhere it felt like in your mid 30s, but I'm guessing it's more like in your
40s.
early 40s or something,
Yeah.
you fell in love again.
Yes, I fell in love.
And where
And
were
he
you
was at the
when?
Innosphere.
He was at the Innosphere.
He was a client of mine.
Okay.
And he was divorced, and he brought me cookies every day, and I was still going through a divorce and didn't even think of him as, just we're buds.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I divorced, Bruce Beege, do you remember Bruce Beege?
I don't.
He was Greeley's economic development manager at the time, director. And he's like, "Oh, Kelly, you're divorced. It's been a while. Rick Jones would love to go on a date with you." And I'm like, "Rick Jones?" And we dated and was all on. I mean, it was, so that
I remember
would have
it was like in a few months it felt like you were married or
yes,
whatever.
well,
I don't
yeah,
know.
2.5 years, but
Well, but it was like your change
a
in your
love
person.
story.
Yeah, it was a love story. Like you all of a sudden became this. you weren't like this infatuated person, but you were like this driven professional single career woman when I met you.
Yeah.
And then pretty soon you're in love and your smiles were bigger and it was so cool to see.
It was awesome. He's an amazing person, but he had esophageal cancer after we found out a year and a half after dating, and in this great love story.
Oh.
And it was
I didn't
stage
realize
1.
that. Okay.
And they found it. He had a lot
so
of.
you thought we're going to be good. We're going to fight this. We're going to win.
It was stage 1, yeah, but it was a monster of a surgery to get it out. If you can imagine, in between all your organs.
Right.
What I know now, I didn't know
Right.
then. We were hopeful. And then he fought a valiant battle down in Denver with a specialist and to get 2 major surgeries to get all that little teeny cancer out. And they said he's clear. He's great. We got it all. All the margins are clear. You don't even need to see a cancer doctor for a year. So we got engaged, got married January 1, and 4 days later had his annual PET scan from all that. Was in the hospital, 100 some days that year. I slept with him every night in the hospitals.
Right.
And it was all over his body. So we just got engaged or got married 4 days later after our marriage.
So if he'd have just went in 3 months later or something, he might
4
have had a
days
chance.
after our wedding. Yeah, if he would have gone in.
Right.
Because they said, you don't even have to be looked at.
Yeah, we got the margins so clear, it's all good.
Yeah. So got married, saw our future then, beat it, and he was only 49, 50. And then 10 months later he died. So that 10 months of marriage was another 100 days in the hospital and amazing doctors at UC Health, but they couldn't, it was too far gone. Flying all over the country trying to save, through clinical trials. And I mean, amazing.
Wow.
Awfulness. He was a champion too. I mean, what a stud. Nebraska wrestling state champion and just a beautiful singer.
Just
so we picked up the fiddle.
Face the dragon.
We used to sing all over in clubs. He got me
is that
singing and
right?
playing the violin.
Oh,
So it was a wonderful but sad experience as well. And I
what
love
a
to
brief
talk about it
chapter.
because he was amazing.
Yeah. How did that, did you bounce back from it or did you go into a season or how did that affect your work?
You know me. I'm like, stiff upper lip.
Yeah.
Hearing my dad, what? You're gonna bounce right back and work through it. His dying wish, he never really thought he was dying to the end. I'm like, you're dying, dude. You're you weigh 100 pounds. He never believed he was, so that was hard. But in the end, he ended up telling us that Kelly, you got to continue to dance. That was what he always said. He's like, you're young, you have such a spirit. Whereas if I were dying, I'd be like, don't you ever go date another woman again.
Really?
I would be more jealous. But he's like, you got to go. He was just that kind of a person. And so my daughter sat with me in Fort Collins in a restaurant and said, I'm putting you on dating apps.
By then she's
in high school, graduating high school. Yeah.
Wow,
we had 4 kids between us. He had 2 and I had 2.
Okay. So you blend your family.
Yeah. Anyway, so he just said that, and his brother even flew in from Wichita to 9 months later, a year later, and said, Kelly, you better get back out there. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I've done this twice now.
Yeah.
And so my daughter put me on a dating app and dated for off and on awfulness for a year. And finally I was done, and she's like, nope, you're going to try it again. And I met John. And so that was several years later. John Sage.
How long have you been married?
So
now?
I've been married 3. We've been together 8.5 years.
Okay.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, 8, yeah.
Well, congratulations on finding love again. I know.
Thank you.
From people I talk to, it's harder when you're older.
It is harder. I mean, my gosh, trying to be pretty on a date for 50. It's not good.
Your history of finding easy grace for people probably helps, but also your discernment in picking winning horses and losers probably helped in the dating process along the way.
Maybe there's a theme
you
there.
learned some stuff along the way. So, I feel like it's a good time to take a little break.
Okay.
We'll come back into your career track after a little potty break.
Sure.
And then we'll get into some other interesting topics.
Awesome. Thank you.
Cool.
This episode is sponsored by LoCo Think Tank. LoCo Think Tank provides peer collaboration for business owners. We build smart, safe places to help business leaders navigate every stage of the business journey, and we love what we do and who we do it with. Our model features give-back-minded business veterans in the role of LoCo facilitators, and we're always looking for abundance-minded individuals to add to our membership, facilitator team, LoCo community, or to feature on this podcast. Listeners of this podcast who go on to become members of LoCo Think Tank get their 6th month of membership for free. Just mention the LoCo Experience podcast on your application. To learn more, visit our website at locothinktank.com. That's LOCO thinktank.com.
Should we sing a little bit?
Yeah.
We'll have to put the microphones away from us to
Yeah.
keep it safe, but
Yeah.
you don't want to.
No, I'd love to sing.
Okay,
I
let's
just
do it.
don't know words.
Just swing it.
very
Oh, I
well.
get the words. Oh, say,
Say,
can you see? But
by
so
the
now
dawn's
now we have to swing the
early
microphones away
light?
because we have to go full throated to do it justice, and the microphones can't handle that.
That's a
close
high
up.
start. So.
Oh, say, can you see
by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that Star Spangled Banner yet wave? Yeah.
the land of the free?
Can't do it. Can't do it.
And the home of the brave.
Yeah. Woo!
Good
Ben,
job.
standing ovation.
Thanks,
I know
Ben.
you got
I'm
that.
sure
Ben.
that sounded terrible,
We'll
really,
cut
for
that,
our
but-
listeners. No, we
Octopus.
won't quit it.
You can
no,
put part
they're
of it
gonna
in.
listen to it. It was cool. How many people can beat us?
Acapella. That was
Right.
hard to do.
It
Was that
isn't easy.
stressful?
No, it was scary. The first time I did it, my
Totally.
palms were all sweaty.
I wrote the words on my palm, and it all meshed, and I blanked even on this version. So, ugh.
Thanks for doing that. That was
Sure.
fun. We're gonna jump into the purpose-driven questions.
Okay. Yes.
Oh wait, before that, we missed a chapter of the Warehouse.
I know. Yes, we
Yes.
did. That's such another great startup story of not
A nonprofit,
entrepreneurship, but
getting a nonprofit spun up.
for entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Okay, so that dream came when I was at Northern Colorado Economic Development, traditional economic development, helping like Woodward expand,
Yeah.
very missing my small business technology
Yep,
firms.
yep.
And I saw out of the Innosphere, everyone that we were helping was going to Denver or going to the coast once they got money.
Right.
They were leaving. And I'm like, oh no, this is not the vision. We cannot lose this talent. Yet you don't blame them when you get millions of dollars in venture capital from the coasts,
Right.
and they require you
They
to
want you
leave.
to be there. Yeah.
Or even Denver, it's outside of the market.
Yeah,
So the idea came to get a second
Hmm.
stage set of advisors, people more sophisticated, not all the HP
Well, and people
middle
vested with
managers.
real estate to
Well, right. To want them
to
to
rent.
land here,
Yeah.
yes, but which was a little unrealistic now.
Well, at
I'm
that
now-
time, it wasn't the truth. That's what really allowed the Warehouse to flourish, was having that.
once we finally got into the
home.
forge,
Yeah.
yeah. I still sit on that board.
Awesome.
But I was only there, let's see, it was probably 2 years. Jay Doctor and Dan Cameron
I was going to
asked-
say, it was the same two dudes that have been
Yep.
carrying through the whole time. Kinda.
We worked together even before for the vision, and they said we might like investing in some of these top companies. So
yeah.
they were involved. They were interested in starting some sort of virtual at first advisory services for second stage. So a whole different group of entrepreneurs and
Yep.
trying to find folks who
Already
are
have to
serial
have
entrepreneurs.
customers, yeah.
Yes, and more like 10 employees versus I have one employee or
Right.
a technical CTO.
Right.
And what in Allison still struggles, we try to find, it's hard to find serial entrepreneurs around here who have done 3 companies and been sold for millions and are willing to just give advice.
Right.
They're off on a sailboat somewhere, you know?
I actually have a referral for her.
Awesome.
Somebody that I just connected with today, and I won't drop any names because I want to check in with him first. But
Okay.
he's actually at that stage of life where he'd love it.
We need, if you're out there and you have that sort of skill set, Allison and the warehouse needs you. It's hard to find.
Yeah.
But when we can surround them with that kind of expertise, that's different than the startup phase.
Yeah.
It's different. Finding money and getting your prototype. That's you're at a different stage.
Yeah.
So she's done a brilliant job. But I was there in the first 2 years, and that's when Rick was passing. So that I stopped because I knew I needed insurance and I needed to get out of the scale-up fund. Not make a ton of money, but just for the heart of it.
Yeah.
I needed to make money for the family at that point, more money. And so I went and tried for the City of Loveland job and did that for 7 years as it's the Loveland's Director of Economic Development.
Gotcha. Yeah, we missed that whole chapter
I
a little
know.
bit, or it was on the way. And thank you. You gave me a referral or two along the way when I was first opening up my first Loveland chapter,
Yes.
which was cool. And you allowed me time. I think that's probably the first time about then that you actually learned about what I was up to with
Yes.
the think tank, right? Because I was a banker and just kind of interested in stuff when we first met.
Well, you're in that category of people that can help second stage businesses
Right.
that we need and we need more of. But you're also running your own profitable company there to do that.
Right.
Whereas some of these second stagers are like, I can't afford to pay much. So there's a disconnect, and there shouldn't be because they all could use your services. They
Right.
really should. I'm not doing this just to brown nose or plug you, but early on in my career, I realized some of the components and necessities of strong entrepreneurs were similar. And one of the components of businesses who had made it were the individuals who were members of groups like Local Think Tank, or I'm forgetting all the name, Vistage,
or Tab, or
absolutely
the Entrepreneurs Organization.
they had to. That was a theme through all the successful entrepreneurs that had made it. Looking back, they'd all been a member of these kind of
It
organizations.
was a theme of my best customers when I was a banker.
Okay.
The ones that took more awesome trips and coached their kids' little league games and
Yep.
made a higher profit margin, frankly, than their competitors.
Yeah.
And had happier employees.
Yeah. Why aren't you sitting getting advice from the people doing it and living it?
Yeah.
So smart.
So anyway, thanks
yeah.
for that encouragement back in those days. So I didn't realize you were there for 7 years in Loveland too.
A little over 7 years
Yeah,
there too.
I've ignored you quite a few of those years. I'm sorry.
Well, my network has shrunk as I, again, move up the ladder and I have
Right.
staff doing all these
the
connections.
little people like me don't deserve your
No,
attention anymore.
no, it's just that now I'm dealing with big developments and don't get the
Right.
fun part of going out and meeting all the businesses.
Yeah,
And so,
fair enough. And when did you make the transition? Did you leave from Loveland to go to Longmont? Was that?
No,
True?
the politics in Loveland were
They're still a little crazy.
and are crazy.
There's some crazy Karens out there in that town.
And a lot of that town doesn't
Just
believe
check
in
Twitter.
Yeah, I had for whatever reason, the mayor did not like me starting in. I mean, just as I went in, I was labeled as a huge pro developer person.
Okay.
And yet, if
The
you
mayor
knew
being, I don't know who
Jackie
that is.
Marsh,
Oh yeah.
so if you know me, and you know my history and did any research on me, I am a non-incentive heart of the community
Right.
economic gardener.
That's
Right?
That's
If you know
totally
me,
the
but
contrary.
she pinned me as this person, and
was
it didn't work for 7 years.
I was on a panel discussion with Jackie one time that Sosima put together. I don't know
Oh
if you know
yes,
Sosima.
I don't know her well.
She's a friend, and she was before even the 2020 stuff, I think, or maybe shortly after it. She was trying to bring the conflicts down, have a wide variety. And Jackie was on a panel with me, and she said something along the lines of, so it was a panel of like a few older people and then a couple of youngsters. And she said something along the lines of, well, I think, somebody like this 21-year-old college student that's here on invitation to share their perspective would make a great city council representative. And I was like, Jackie, with due respect, I've been a student of history and economics and things. Even when I was 15, I was devouring magazines over and over. And with due respect, when I was 21 or even when I was 31, I would have added no value to a city council meeting. I had no experience.
That's
I had
interesting.
nothing
You
to
challenged
bring
her,
to
though.
it.
Ooh,
Oh yeah,
not good,
she
probably.
didn't really like it.
But
but-
good for you to speak up in your opinion.
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
sure like that YouTube video got like 8 likes or something like that, or who knows. Like nobody
Probably.
actually watched it, but it was a very interesting perspective to So I can only imagine being under that kind of ideology a little bit.
It was radical. And for me,
Early radical, like
I-
radical
right when I
before
walked
radical was
in,
radical almost.
she gained a lot of followers because people were needing a passionate person who would fight the man in that general way without really understanding.
Without realizing that the man is in
a
some cases, the man is the person that actually creates jobs and
right.
economic opportunity.
Absolutely. And now I'm at this point at 30 years in my career where I really understand how to build an economy.
I think that's our biggest problem in the world right now is that this culture, like we used to not worship business creators and job creators and stuff like that, but they were the heroes of communities, of these communities that we're talking about. These
That's right.
50,000 to 200,000.
10,000. I mean, little Iowa communities. You've got to have a primary employer.
The guy that could keep the cafe open even, or an elevator.
Yes.
Whatever's
bringing in federal funding for farmers, that
Right,
outside
even that.
money has to keep a community.
Something has to come in and make it grow.
Yes, and for every one of those jobs, there is the coffee shop and
Right.
the dry
There's three
cleaner
more.
and the
Three more
liquor
other
store.
ones,
And
but
yes,
they have to have
that's
those primary ones. And that's why one of the reasons our real estate's high priced here is when COVID happened and everybody can work from remote, we imported a bunch of quasi-primary employers
from outside,
which were companies that pay their employees that live here.
That's right.
And they
That's
import
true.
all these paychecks. They live here and they spend it at the Sprouts and the Safeway. It acts a lot more like a manufacturing company job.
That's true.
Than it does otherwise.
I would love to study. It's hard to get that data
It
because the
is,
companies
yeah.
own that data. Anyway,
Right.
we could go down a rabbit hole there, but I
digress.
love data.
We could nerd out for a 4-hour
Yes.
podcast if we wanted to.
Yes.
But we need to get into the purpose-driven questions because
Okay.
we have a purpose-driven segment sponsored by Purpose-Driven Wealth.
Thank you.
Thank you, Clint Jasperson and the Thrivent Financial
Thank you,
Office
Clint.
in Loveland. Thank you to Purpose-Driven Wealth of Thrivent for sponsoring our Purpose-Driven Questions segment. At Purpose-Driven Wealth, they believe financial clarity leads to a life of contentment and purpose. Their mission is to help guide clients using a values-driven, stewardship-based approach focused on provision, contentment, and enjoyment. With more than a century of experience, Thrivent helps individuals and families navigate life and business transitions and prepare for the future while creating space to live generously and give back in meaningful ways. To learn more about Purpose-Driven Wealth, please call 970-330-7411 for a complimentary initial consultation. And now, on to the questions. When I quit food trucking, before I went full-time LoCo, I was doing Thrivent for a couple of years.
I remember
probably
that.
when you and I were interacting almost most recently.
Isn't that a Lutheran Christian-based
It was
organization?
Lutherans, then it became all Christians.
Okay.
And now they're from Wisconsin, and I understand they're getting kind of wokey.
Oh, okay. Those changed.
Freaking wokies.
Okay.
Taking over everywhere.
Oh, shit.
I don't know. Whatever. They wanted to be for everybody.
Yeah.
So it goes. Hopefully, I don't get any shit from Clint. Will like it actually. Thrivent might have gas, but they probably won't be monitoring. I don't think their
Okay. Sorry,
enforcement arm is too
Thrivent.
strong.
We still love you.
Yeah, we do. I do love you. I think you should get back to your roots and American values, entrepreneurship, build wealth so that you can live generously.
That's right. I love that.
And
I
live
love the
with
purpose.
Yeah, it's a great purpose. What do you? Here's when you've gone through a major life event. We've got some scripted questions.
Yeah.
What do you find the most important kind of capital? Is it relational? Is it spiritual? Is it financial? Is it like what do you lean on? And you've shared a couple of times a real challenge.
I'm trying to think of one. I have quite a few. I lean on the people, I think, more than anything.
Okay.
I'm a spiritual person, and I pray, and
You haven't talked about faith at all. Would you like to?
I don't mind. I'm somewhat, I struggle with my Christianity.
Specific
I was
faith?
raised Lutheran.
Okay.
Very, very Lutheran,
Yep.
and always going to church, and I still believe in that, and I pray every morning, and I do my gratefulness every morning. But I still always, I struggle with that, and I have a great girlfriend, Minnie McLuhan, who's the president of the chamber in
Sure.
Loveland, who always gets me back to my faith and
Yeah.
reminds me. So it's an area that I'm not an expert in,
Yeah.
for sure. So I lean on that every morning, but also, and more so, my friendships and my family. And I'm a learner through conversation. And so I believe in this.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
believe in great dialogue and thinking out loud and with errors and mistakes to get to a good solution.
I like to say, just because I say something doesn't mean I think it.
No.
I'm just test flying it.
Yeah, and why did you believe I meant that? I'm just
Right, just
exactly
testing
another
it.
parallel, Kurt. Another parallel. So I would say relationships, but I just have this knack through trauma to compartmentalize it and put it over here so that I can get back to business and then come back to the grief or resolving the trauma in the times I have the space for it.
Have you found silver linings in most of your griefs as well?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I am so proud of who I am, and I was not very proud of who I was growing up. I still lack confidence, but I'm proud of who I am based on what I'm hearing, how I've come through all these things.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm proud of myself for forgiving, or whatever you would say, the grace. You said it earlier.
Yeah.
I haven't figured myself out yet.
No,
so
we're
thinking
still
out loud.
works in progress. That's fine. Yeah. Talk to me about investing in other people
Oh,
along the course
I
of
need
your
to
career.
do more of that. I did a lot more of that when I was younger and had
Yeah.
more energy. Then I found as I climbed the ladder and had more responsibility, especially in small nonprofits.
Yeah.
I just couldn't be efficient and raise family, be the breadwinner.
yeah.
And that's a lame excuse. And I find that's probably a very weak spot in my life.
Yeah.
Because I'm nearing retirement in the next 3 years, probably. That's my goal.
I like it.
And that is huge. I have to find the area to give because I can't wait to give in whatever area, whether it's people going through cancer, whether it's entrepreneurship, the themes in my life.
Yeah.
Whether it's women, I love to support women entrepreneurs. I don't know where it's going to be.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
if anybody's out there and needs a volunteer, I'm almost ready.
You know, one of the things I'm really proud of is when, so Allison Seebeck was, well, first on my podcast, she was episode 41, I believe.
Okay.
Told her story there. But then she became a facilitator for what we call the next level catalyst. So like for the number twos of our bigger company operators.
Okay.
And she was so humble. I wanted her to become a facilitator. And she's like, well, but I never founded anything. You know, I just kind of stepped in from the founder and grew the business massively from there.
Yeah,
right?
she's a good scaler. She's a great scaler.
Right, amazing. But anyway, she had that chapter for a couple few years, but the revenue, she didn't even let me pay her. She made me pay the warehouse.
Wow.
And
She's
the
wonderful.
revenue that we paid her was what allowed her to hire her first assistant, Christine.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and that, in my mind, helped get some of the shit off of Allison so that she could focus on doing the growth things that let the warehouse really emerge,
That's
you know?
right. That's right.
And
The
I'm
CEO
really proud
can't
of
do
that.
it all.
Right.
So look what you did.
Having a teammate was a really big deal for her.
Yes.
so-
I love that.
Anyway.
I can't wait. The only thing that still scratches that itch is that when I do bring jobs in or help a company grow in whatever small way, my little fingerprints are there. I know that helps so many families. It's
Right.
as a civil servant, it
That's
just
10 paychecks.
feeds
right?
me. It feeds me. Although I want more direct. I'd love to see, like, people at the Innosphere today don't know who I am.
Right.
But I formed the nonprofit and I pick the carpeting out.
Right.
But I go there now and I'm like, every
Right.
project I need to put a little thumbprint so I can walk back with my grandkids
That's cool.
and go, oh, I was here.
That's part of why I do this podcast, right? Like, it won't be lost to history that you picked out the carpet at Innosphere.
Thank you.
If nothing
Whoever's
else,
listening,
those grandkids, you
yeah.
can have them listen to this. They'll
Thank
be like,
you.
it was blue, and this is why.
Right, exactly. That
Maybe
big
it wasn't
tree
blue, I don't
in the
know.
middle of the Innosphere. That was our avatar tree. Anyway, I have stories, and that doesn't matter. It really, I'm humble enough to know it doesn't matter. But at some point, you want to
What was that
applaud
mark?
that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for that. That's meaningful. And not everybody's as purpose driven. You know, there is, especially in kind of quasi government circles.
Yes.
Right. I'm
It's a
sure you
job.
were a misfit. Like when I quit being a banker, I was already a member of the Rotary Club for, maybe 5 or 6 years or something like that. And so they knew me as this banker, and roughly half of the club was like, high fives, you're going to be fine. You know, I had no certain future at all. And the other half of the club was like, you're a freaking idiot.
You're screwed.
You sacrificed all this security. Your wife should probably leave you now to save herself the trouble. And it was such this crazy dichotomy of those that, I mean, it's the scarcity mindset versus the victim mindset, right?
That's right. Yeah.
And that's
I
the
love
biggest
the
thing
abundant mindset.
Yeah.
And you have it.
Ask of your needs and share of your abundance.
That's right.
Has been our motto. Was my motto first, and then it's now LoCo Think Tank's motto because I donated it.
Love that.
Thanks.
I love that. I love that you broke out, and it is the government. You see the government.
It's
worker,
philosophy
the
in
8 to 5
nine words, you know. And it's don't take of my abundance. Ask, ask
more.
of your needs and share of your abundance.
That's
don't
right.
take of my abundance. I'll share of my abundance if I
a lot.
want to.
Yeah.
But don't take it, and also don't ask of your wants. Ask of your
awesome.
needs, because if you ask of your wants, then
You're draining. You're just sucking the life out of people. Yeah.
Well, and there's unlimited wants.
yeah.
I've got so many wants.
Yeah.
So
Be pragmatic.
yeah, that's kind of the notion.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I'm proud of you for breaking out of that because it's a safe mindset oftentimes in government and in banking and we need that in our
Those rebels
we
like you and
need-
me
yep.
kind of living in
Misfit's
those worlds
a great
little
word.
bit. Yeah,
Inside City Hall, we were known as the misfits.
for sure.
Everything.
For sure.
That's why the mayor probably didn't
Which
like
is
me.
why I got invited to the University Connections thing by Doug Finance.
He
back in
saw
the day,
you as
right?
the misfit
He was
that
a misfit
knew.
banker, yeah.
And he was. That's right. He was a
He was a
former
misfit
banker of
banker
wealth.
too, yeah, for sure.
Wealthy individuals. Yeah.
Well, now he's got like 2 or 3 Tiger 21 chapters.
I don't know. I haven't followed him
Oh,
since.
Tiger 21 is the investment group for enhanced returns. So it's like LoCo Think Tank, but you have to have like 15 million liquid and be
Oh.
a first generation founder. And now you're an investor and a change maker. Oh, yeah, you should connect with him
That's
because he's probably got
amazing.
some members in Longmont that could drip some dough on your juice.
I'd love to help that. Well,
But he's a total influencer, awesome guy. He's been a great advocate over
back
the
in
years.
the day, he's had that in, talk about purpose. He's had that in his heart from way back because we called every
Right.
individual we knew that had some wealth and were givers, and it was a
Yep.
hard list because it's a private list, into a room. And
Yep.
we tried to talk them into investing into entrepreneurship, and it didn't go well. And he and Mike have worked at that for a
Yep.
long time. But because this area has only known wealth through real estate primarily.
Yep.
And land and
But he's
selling
changing
land.
that a little
and he's
bit.
Changing
and he's
it
got
finally.
members way down in Denver and stuff and whatever. And his experience toolkit and passions really,
Yeah,
lent to his being able to do this.
that's awesome.
And he's probably influenced more generosity than almost anybody because he's got that similar mindset and he's talking to actually wealthy people.
That's wonderful.
I got a bunch of 5 and 10 employee businesses
Yeah,
people.
exactly. We've got the poor connections,
Right.
but
Bring me your poor huddled masses
And
of
we will help you.
struggling to scale.
Yes.
And we will help you.
we will.
Yeah.
That's right. Or tell you, maybe don't do that anymore.
Right.
Go get a banking job
Maybe
for
you're not
5
cut
years
out
and then
for-
go back out.
Yes, that was Scott Jennings, God bless you, the founder of Chiba Hut, said, Bear, you need to park that fucking trailer in your backyard and go get a job
Did he really?
before you lose your mortgage and your marriage.
And did you
And-
say, screw it, I'm not going to? Or did you do that?
No, I did
you
it.
go? You did.
Yeah,
went
I
back
went to
and
work
took
for
his
Thrivent.
advice.
I went to work for Thrivent.
Okay.
All my chapter was like, dude, you don't even want to be where success on this. You want to be a manager of a 3 food truck operation, maybe a restaurant someday.
Wow,
Like
yeah.
that sounds like a miserable job for you.
But so they saw the vision beyond and tried to get you steered back to
Yeah.
what you'd be better at.
Right. They were like, if you can scale LoCo Think Tank, you'll be a much happier person. Or just go be a banker or something. But because you having 3 food trailers is
Yeah.
not going to make you happy. It's going to make you miserable.
It's so hard to change
Well, you
and
don't-
shift. When
and I
you're an
was focused
entrepreneur.
on not failing at my restaurant thingy, right?
Right.
Like I wasn't focused on doing what was best for Kurt necessarily. We don't know.
Right.
A lot of us, I started studying engineering at school because I was like, well, pretty good at math and building stuff. And then people were like, well, engineers sit in cubicles and they draw
Don't
stuff
talk to a
all
lot
day.
of
They don't
people.
talk to people. I was
Yeah.
like, well, that sounds
that's
stupid.
not
And
it.
calculus 2 is super hard. So
So let's shift.
I want to say thanks to Seed and Spirit Distilling. And I've heard, we talked earlier that you have come to really enjoy mezcal lately. And
I
so
love
this is local. They grow their own corn. I don't know if it's in this, but they bought an old combine so they could harvest their own corn and go like literally seed to spirit. And they
I can
buy stuff too.
detassel people.
Yeah. So
I'm a mean
so
detasseler.
actually, I suppose this is less corn, but otherwise. So it's a whiskey and a mezcal hybrid.
Okay.
Makes great old fashions, honestly.
I'm excited to try it.
And would you like to salute or shalom or anything like that?
Salute, yes. I wish I knew it in Danish or
Yeah, right. That
or
would be
backgrounds.
Cool. We
I
should both
don't.
learn our native language.
Prost, that's German.
We could have a Danish-Dutch. Well, Danishes are really nice, like the fruit
true.
pastry.
It's true.
What did Dutch have that's in comparison? Well,
Tulips.
Dutch Brothers coffee.
Tulips.
Like really
They
sugary
crush
coffee.
tulips into
Oh,
something.
tulips, yeah.
We'll create something.
That was a great tulip monopoly. What a crazy ass. That was like
Maybe we should do the
Bitcoin,
shot.
but earlier. Cheers. Appreciate
Cheers. Thank you for having me.
You. Yes.
Woo! Okay. Wow. That's pretty smooth.
Yeah.
I'm still
Not
burning
everybody's a
little
shot
bit.
person.
No, I'm not really, but I'm going to be tonight. I am tonight.
Yes.
That was delicious.
Good.
You could drink that on ice.
My sponsor likes it. Yes, you can drink that on ice. Actually,
that's smooth enough
sometimes
for
what
that.
I do that for the podcast sometimes.
Thank you.
Yay.
Okay, here's my address so you can drop off some
I
bottles.
hereby recommend Seed and Spirit Distilling. They're opening maybe in a month or two. Joel Gustafson is marrying my longtime member Abby Stout,
Okay.
who operates the Edwards House Bed and Breakfast.
That's awesome.
And
Hospitality experts.
yeah. Actually, she saved us back during 2020. We got kicked out of Innosphere. We got kicked out of the Economic Development Office. We got kicked out of all these spaces.
Yeah. You were in the SBDC offices, weren't you?
Yeah,
Somewhere in there?
well, I
Yes.
had So I had rented. So I had and ended up finding like the Best Western. Kudos to the gal there. I can't remember your name. And
The former
and
mayor
Abby,
owned that.
maybe but before the manager let me have meetings there because we're a bunch of libertarians. We're like we're gonna have
Scrappy.
meetings.
Yeah, we'll find a place.
All right. And so anyway, we started meeting at the Edwards House with one of their conference rooms way back in the day. So those two are getting married
Congrats.
very soon, like maybe 2 weeks. And Whizcal is one of my favorite. Nobody else makes like a whiskey mezcal.
I just heard about it literally yesterday.
Really?
For an old fashioned, a mezcal in an old fashioned.
Yeah.
They were promoting that at the Taco Man in
Oh yeah.
Berthoud.
Well, so now you
So
know.
you should sell there.
They should.
Whizcal.
Where at
The Taco Man by the
Okay.
TPC
All right.
in Berthoud.
Oh, okay. Well, by the TPC. So Joel, if you're listening,
Go hit him up.
go get him. Yeah. Before we get to your LoCo experience,
Yes.
do you have any questions for me? I know you felt like a little bit of an interrogation most of this.
Well, I've been dying to ask questions, but I never
seasons.
know how these work. One of my main questions right now is what could you use from the city of Longmont or the southern area of NoCo
Oh, sure. Yeah.
in the way to support your business and grow that?
Thank you. Let's see, when was it? So 2021, the summer of 2021, I actually joined the Longmont Chamber for a season.
Scott Cook. Yeah.
Yep, Scott's a great guy.
Yeah.
And I, went down there probably 20 times, went to different meetings
Oh, wow.
and networked. And I had kind of a core group of interested people. I remember Robin from Wibby Brewing was at least a little bit interested, and the gal that ran the co-working space was super cool. I forget her name.
I don't know that they're still going, the co-working
Maybe not.
space.
And we were kind of getting close, but I never really found a good facilitator. And so I guess that would be my one thing. Like I couldn't really build a LoCo think tank chapter because I didn't have a person
Right,
solidly
you can't go
identified
down
to
and do
build
all
around.
that facilitation. That's right.
Right. And so, and I don't know if you really know, our model really is I've never been the facilitator.
Oh, I thought you were at the beginning.
No. Well, I was of the second chapter for a short season before I fired myself because I sucked at it.
Okay.
I'm just the talent scout on that side too. So I'm a supply constrained business.
Okay.
So Andrea Grant was our first chapter
love her.
facilitator. Yeah. So
Love
she
her.
had been Vistage.
Yep.
And when we started, she agreed that she would do the facilitation of the group for $500 a month. I charged $150 a month per member, so I needed 4 members to be able to pay Andrea.
Yeah.
She recorded those one-on-ones with the members through the SBDC, so she got paid another $30 for meeting with the members.
Right. That's true. They
each.
make 30. They make nothing.
And then soon, in a few years, the SBDC was like,
we want you.
damn, all of our people that are meeting with Andrea are like showing all these growth and
Yes.
revenue growth and hiring people
So they took
and
her.
attracting capital. Well, she'd already been volunteering there. I was already
I
aware
thought of her
her.
as like a leader there too.
She was.
amongst
That's how
this.
we got connected.
Okay.
I did I did volunteering as a banker there, and she otherwise was there. Oh, and the earliest roots was Old Town Tuesdays. The bank I worked at, every Tuesday, first Tuesday of each month, I had like all these libertarian tenets of business before I even heard of Ron Paul. And but if you agree with all these tenets, then you can come and be part of this networking group. That's not a networking group. We're going to play pool, and we're going to play ping pong, and we're going to drink beer and eat pizza and build relationships. And so, like, 6 out of the first 10 members of LoCo were probably from that group, including Andrea and her husband that had hung around there, and he became my second facilitator. So what I'd really need is a facilitator. And if you go to the LoCo Think Tank website, there's a list of 10 characteristics, but it's really a person that acknowledges that they've been blessed in business, they've built something awesome, not just from fortune.
It's hard to find these people.
But yeah, I know.
But they're there. They're out there.
This job is better than the job at the warehouse because it's a durable connection. They get to build relationships, and they're the little hub.
Yes.
So they can have 10 people around them that the facilitator's journey looks like a successful one. So whether you're in the big kids club or the middles or the littles, like Moses Horner is a facilitator for the littles group. You know, he started his painting company when he was filling nail holes by himself.
Right.
And he had a young baby at home and a fresh bride. And then he was like, man, I could do more if I could hire somebody to fill some nail holes for me and just paint.
Why are you paying me to
do
that?
And then now he's got a 30-person company. He's been going for 26 years, and he loves the idea of helping. He's had painting company members.
Wow.
Like where he's like, hey, you've got a 3-person painting business, and I can, I want you to
We could do a painting incubator.
Yeah, but any service company or any,
it's a special
it's just
person
business is business,
to
and
find.
so
But I think people
they are hard to find.
I will say,
but that's what I need in Longmont.
But there's more out there that could do it if they didn't feel intimidated by it.
Right.
That's I think the thing. I think they're out there. They're just intimidated.
I don't need you to be an expert in everything. I don't need you to be you don't need to think that you should be a business consultant.
No. That's the hurdle.
You just need to love it.
You have to love it and be purpose-driven and want to give it
people.
back.
I can recruit somebody that's really good at finances if you're not.
You know, Kurt, this is an aha. Maybe it's the WizCal. It could be the WizCal speaking, but thank you, WizCal. But it's an aha for me that all these years I've tried to recruit this exact type of person for so many of these nonprofits to volunteer or get paid a small amount.
Yeah.
And I think it's been too intimidating. I think there's genius all around.
Yeah.
But perhaps we set the parameters and they think, well, I can't go coach and name a business that you go, oh, that's intimidating. They know more than me.
Right.
I think it's there. So maybe it's a matter of not lowering our standards, but just lower.
You don't have to be.
You know what I'm saying?
Nobody's the smartest one.
No, we all have just a little component, and together,
right,
with a lot of conversation,
right.
And if you are a person who can
field
that conversation,
one of the big things I coach my facilitators on is don't be the answer provider.
Just get them talking.
Yes, and that for me, so one of the 4, so Rotary Club, Vistage, I was a member of for a while. Mm-hmm. I was on the board of the Matthews House.
Oh, Matthews
so
House.
Kind of a whole person approach to social services. Mm-hmm. I was the president of the board when I launched LoCo Think Tank. Mm-hmm. And then the 4th one that went way back to like 2005 when I lived in Colorado Springs, I had joined Bible Study Fellowship, and they asked me to be a discussion leader in like year 2 of me being a Christian.
Oh.
And I was like, I don't know anything about the Bible.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, you don't have to. We'll teach you how to facilitate a conversation where you find truth together. And that's the thing that I coach my facilitators the most on. Especially, some of them have been retired for 5-10 years, right? Mm-hmm. They're not on the leading edge of AI and stuff. They don't necessarily know some of the latest SEO techniques and stuff. But they can open up a conversation that finds the truth among 10 other people that know stuff.
That's awesome. You just described the job description of someone that you need,
yes,
and that Northern Colorado needs.
You don't need in Longmont. Would love to have. Yeah. I'm sure.
There's so many genius people. You've opened my mind to thinking about. You did in the call.
So somebody that's a little bit bored. They don't have all their time sucked up. Usually it's like 6 months after they sold something, but before they start something else, you know?
Yeah.
And we can, for the wives out there, we can keep your husband or for the
fun.
husbands from starting another new business.
Right.
Because they
gosh.
can live somewhat vicariously through 10 other journeys.
And that's not their
Yeah.
houses on the line then.
Right. You know, or hopefully they're not even in that place. They shouldn't need my paycheck. They should want to almost volunteer for my job.
That's right.
But like kind of the same as you trying to recruit people for the Sage Advisors
Or the
warehouse,
warehouse. I mean,
or whatever.
The Sage Advisors, they were lined up.
But it's relational. What I offer is really a long, like Moses chapter is celebrating 7 years. 5 of the original members from 7 years ago are still in the group, which is super cool.
Yeah, it's
you know,
alumni.
they've watched each other grow. Some have grown tremendously. Others haven't grown as much, and they can be
okay.
satisfied, and that's okay. If you're happy,
Yeah.
you've got the place where you want to be, that's cool.
Exactly.
You know, a couple of his business owners bought buildings last year, literally
It's
on the
passive
5-year
income,
anniversary of saying, well, for their office. Like,
Oh,
I'm
for
not
their
going
own.
to, like 5 years ago in their chapter meetings, they were like, I don't want to, when my 5-year lease comes up that I just signed, I want to buy something next time.
They did
And
it.
so there was peer pressure to do that thing. You know, now they own their building.
Wow.
And it's just, you know, it's just incremental, making a little bit more better, smarter people.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I love it.
You know, this is maybe a vulnerable octopus moment,
We'll
but
see.
you tear up on stuff touches you, and
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to get a theme
I
of
used
when.
to be kind of tough. Like when I was 20, 25, 30, I was tough. But I've seen so many, I've just been in so many
Stories.
vulnerable situations where people confess their
Hardships.
fears or hardships or shortcomings
Yeah.
or whatever, and then
It touches
fixed
you.
it.
Yeah.
You know, and when
I think it's amazing.
when they succeed. Somebody could die. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like if an old person with cancer dies, I'm like, whatever. Like we need less old people with cancer anyway. Those fuckers cost a lot. Keep them alive. I'm an economist.
That's the
after all.
libertarian in you.
Right.
I mean, it's like the Norwegian
Right.
or whatever.
But a success story that
kill
can,
them when they're 90 and they're
Right,
dying.
just
like,
whack them off. Yeah. Walk out of the forest if you're going
take
to
that
cost
pill.
us too much.
Take
yeah.
that pill. I kind of have that same feeling. I mean, if I get to that point.
Right.
Anyway.
A little bit. Yeah. I like to say I'd like to die at 90 miles an hour on my motorcycle hitting the side of a train. So I don't have to
I'm not
undergo
I'm not
cancer
as brave
treatment or
as you.
something.
No, but I would take that pill, Kevorkian, and go good night, or drink those 3 drinks.
Yeah, whatever it
We
takes.
should do more of that.
I hope I'm still capable. Well, my brain would have to I don't know. My body would have to be riddled, and my brain's still good.
But then
really
you have to be able
justify
to
that.
like do the shift of the motorcycle.
Yeah, but
I mean, there's some
I've
practicalities.
been riding since I've been 15. I'll be fine.
Muscle memory.
The train company would be like pissed when I smear myself on the side of their tanker, but whatever. That's
Cost
fine.
BNSF. They're rich anyway.
A little bit of that's Warren Buffett mostly, right?
Well, back to Don Johnson,
Yes.
the guy that I can't think of the name of. Fear and Loathing. Oh, Ben's got to look this up for us. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Who wrote that?
Henry S. Thompson.
No.
Thompson.
Yes.
Not it's something S. Thompson.
Hunter S.
Hunter S.
Thompson is who
Thompson.
I've partied with several millions
Oh
of times.
no shit!
And
You
who
party
blew-
with Hunter S. Thompson?
Yes. Yes, has a bong that's 10 feet tall, and all the 14-year-olds all around him,
Oh,
with
my.
Stephen Stills and all. He shot VCRs off the deck of Don Johnson's house and shot him with shotguns. He's the one who blew his ashes out,
Yeah.
right, and his death, and after suicide. I mean, that was what he wanted.
I'm not-
So, not that this is a
That's
sick,
crazy.
morbid.
So you've partied
turn.
a bunch of times with Hunter S. Thompson.
Yes.
That's cool. Ben, have you ever partied with Hunter S. Thompson?
That's the name I blocked. Well, probably because I partied too much with Hunter S. Thompson. I blocked his name. Sorry, here's to Hunter. Cheers,
to Hunter.
Hunter.
It feels like Hunter would want us to have another half shot of Whizcal.
I can't drink all this wine if I do another
No, you
half
don't have
shot.
to.
I'd
Yeah.
do. I'd
You
do
just
another
leave the rest
shot.
of that.
Hell yeah.
Okay, we'll just leave the rest of the
Yeah,
wine
here's to
behind.
Hunter. I have great stories.
To Hunter. You want to? Why don't you start a Hunter S. Thompson
Okay.
story while I pour the Whizcal?
Well, the one I love the best, I just kind of told, but Hunter S. Thompson was at the house, Don Johnson's house, and he always would come over from the Woody Creek Tavern. Was his favorite
been
hangout,
there.
right? He's known. Yeah, it's a great place.
That place.
Oh, I have a great Hunter S. Thompson story. Actually,
Okay.
Hunter S. Thompson's at the bar, and this is not my story. This is a friend of mine's story. That was he was at the bar regularly at Woody Creek Tavern, and he had, this is a true story. It's going to sound non-true, but he had some sort of
I
like
love those.
smoke alarms or bombs set up to go off
if anybody like trespassed or something?
No, just that day at Woody Creek Tavern.
Okay.
Okay, so the people were at the bar that didn't know that this was going on. And he's telling a story, and he's sitting there, and they're talking to him, and he gets up and just out of the blue leaves. Well, he knew everything was about to go off. So all these like explosions go off and smoke is everywhere and fills the place, and he just exits and he videotaped the whole thing because he just on a day
just to see what would happen.
He was crazy.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
clearly, just coming over one day while we were all there at Don's house to shoot off throw VCRs in the air and shotgun.
Right,
them.
right.
I mean, that's crazy. Steven Stills came over with his wife. He had this beautiful wife and child, and Hunter S. Thompson was there. And Don's like, we got to get Hunter S. Thompson out of here because he's crazy, and there's children now in the house. I mean,
and we can't have him around us.
No, who knows what he's
so
going to
he was
say
like
or do.
legitimately crazy.
Legitimately crazy, but fun. I always liked him. I mean, he was
right.
I
like
got
the
along with him.
eccentrics too.
But I'm a 25-year-old blonde hair down
Right.
here little girl, so I mean, I'm sure he really liked me at that point because you
Right.
know, yeah.
Do you think your husband got that job at all because you were cute?
No, he did it on his
That's
own.
good. Okay.
I was not. I didn't think I was cute at that point, but anyway. But I look back and I'm like, oh, yeah, that's probably why Hunter liked me.
How awkward is that? Like,
Oh, I have no idea about that stuff. I'm just so blind to that.
yeah, no, but you've never, nobody's ever manipulated against you or anything.
Oh,
it was
my
just
gosh,
kind of
no,
observable.
No, I didn't. I've never have thought I am. I've never had an awareness of that at all. I don't
being
believe
pretty?
it. No, I don't think I am
Interesting.
at all. I'm uncomfortable sitting here being videoed. But thank you.
Yeah, especially knowing how old you are. Gosh.
Let's do a shot.
Okay.
Here's to Hunter.
Here's to Hunter.
And you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, fun times.
Are you ready for the LoCo experience? Do you know the story you're
No,
going to share?
I don't know. I'm not prepared.
So this is the craziest story from your life, not Hunter's life.
Probably just told you one.
No, that was Hunter's story, kind of, but from your life that you're willing to share. And we may have touched on it before. I don't even know. You know, something.
Gosh, I think I told you all my crazy stories.
Really?
I mean,
don't think so. You have more crazy stories.
well, I would say that time during Don Johnson in having
Living in Aspen and being in this
and
celebrity
being this
lifestyle.
little Iowa
Living
girl.
in a crazy ass downstairs apartment and being this Iowa kiddo.
Yes, and I mean we were so poor,
Right.
you know, and I mean we had nothing, and
yet
just,
the cocaine's always on the countertop.
I've never tried
Later.
cocaine.
Really?
That's
You
what
went
I mean.
to those parties and you just.
I'm a square pig.
Wow.
I am the.
But your
first
husband was probably
child.
partying like
He was
crazy.
partying. Nicolette Sheridan. I mean, big stars were coming in and walking around naked, and he was just doing his job, and who knows what else. I don't.
Yeah.
It was fine.
And you're just like
at
living.
home and just I'm going to be a teacher at CSU. I'm this
Wow.
weird mix of a raised by
Yeah,
60s parents, but very square,
Yeah.
driven, gonna succeed, kick some ass,
Yeah.
say it like it is, and just I'm very proper.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
It is. It's an unusual mixture,
It is.
I would say.
I didn't go down the dark paths I very much could have
So
in
you-
all those scenarios.
Like, obviously, you just rejected more wine so
Right.
that you could have another half shot of
Yeah.
mezcal because you liked it, because you know your limits, your boundaries.
Yeah. I've always been in control too much, right? I mean, I go crazy. You can talk to my girlfriends, but I'm very much.
Even in those crazy moments, in a safe place.
Yeah.
Like, you don't allow yourself to go.
No,
Like,
never.
I entered a karaoke contest at a bar where I worked at while I was working at the bank where the bar owner also worked on acid.
Oh yeah, I would
And
never
I made
do
it to the
that.
finals.
Oh my god, no! I'd never be brave enough to do any of that. That's my sister,
Right.
right? Skydiving, deep sea diving.
Yeah.
She's my crazy side, but I have it in me. But I'm safe.
You've kind of a high responsibility quotient. That's where part of our divergence is, I suppose.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of trauma, and I've taken care of
Yeah.
a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I kind of always have to be in somewhat control.
I've been kind of blessed to not have too much trauma.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
That's
I've been
awesome.
kind of a little bit happy-go-lucky. Haven't had that many, like Jill and I on a BMW touring motorcycle. I shared this story before, but one time we came around this corner down by Decker's outside of Woodland Park.
Oh.
And we had this fully loaded touring motor, and we went all the way sideways where I could literally, like, look over to my right and my back end of my motorcycle was trying to pass me.
Wow.
But I turned into that thing, and I, read the magazine.
You found
about
it right?
how,
Oh, really?
And we wiggled it out, and here we are. Nothing bad happened.
Yeah.
I got into a fight with a literally 400-pound Samoan Coke addict bartender guy in Keystone one time, and I knocked him down and broke his finger, and I came out unscathed.
A Samoan? Like a huge man.
Like his thigh was as big around as my chest.
But you made it out, and so you're blessed. You
Yeah,
have a certain
somehow I've kind of skated above the kind of fray and not been crushed by trauma stuff.
No, not me. I mean, even right now, my mom's in moderate Alzheimer's at 78, and I'm her caregiver.
Yeah, you're per primary.
It's always in life. I have it in me to be that crazy.
Yeah.
I've got it in me, trust me.
Yeah.
Because it breaks out every now and again. But generally I can't because I'm taking care of somebody.
Yeah.
I went to a psychic recently with all my girlfriends just for fun. And she said they all had some title and I was the mother. And I'm like, I'm the mother? And I was like, oh, shoot, I am the mother.
That's our big difference is like you're responsible. You're the responsible
have
one.
To be, yeah.
You've always had to be kind of.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like even part of the structure of LoCo Think Tank is I set up people like Moses Horner and Drew Yancey and Pete Gasley.
Oh,
Drew
Pete
Yancey.
Probably.
Oh yeah,
Drew's, yeah. I love that family.
They're great. So they're the ones that are responsible. I find the smart kids and I put them with the responsible
You're a connector.
people. And
You're a brilliant connector.
They can add the value because I don't want to be responsible for teaching you how to build a good, awesome business.
Well, we'll never be billionaires, but we got our hearts filled.
Yeah.
That's always what I say. I'm not making the money, but we have our hearts filled.
So I still don't feel like we've quite checked the LoCo experience box.
Okay. Oh yeah, I don't.
Is there anything even going back to like you told me about your dad was like rocking with Buddy Holly and crazy stuff?
The Hollies, not Buddy Holly.
Oh,
yeah.
different, but
he had records.
He had records? Oh, he
has records.
Was the
he was
Hollies?
one of the
No.
He played with those bands as they came through town. He was always the startup band, so we got to meet him and jam
Opener
with him.
for a lot of cool bands.
Yeah. But those are memories that are beautiful for me.
Yeah.
I think what was the question again?
Well, it's a crazy experience. So LoCo is kind of a play on words, right? So it could be a joyful experience.
Okay.
Or a release of sorrows or who knows what. Like your singing is amazing. Like you
I love singing.
Carried that throughout your life as well as making music.
I'm trying to think. I honestly have
a
so
crazy
many
experience that shaped your journey is what we're digging for.
Gosh, I wish I would have been prepared for this one. I'm gonna have to come back
Well,
and record it.
An email that said,
add it in. I also
Well,
have
you're so
such a high
responsible.
level of.
You have
I'm like, these are all normal things, but I've had so many highs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm so proud of the Innosphere, even though people don't know. I'm so proud of that work in my heart. And I don't.
And what the warehouse had become.
Yes, and
but
I got to start that and form it and do all the basic stuff so that someone could follow it and have the energy like Allison, like a perfect person to scale it and make it beautiful.
Right.
So I've left a trail of things, jobs and places. And just today I drove by the Bass Pro, which is this big, huge, beautiful place on the highway they've been after for 30 years, and that was my deal. And I got to see it, and I go, oh, there's the Bass Pro. It's finally
there's
built.
Going to be like 1,000 jobs there.
The Amazon facility
is
3.2 million square feet. People hate it. But I love that they asked me for incentives 4 times, and I said no to them 4 times.
Right, but they still
and no
put
one
it there?
knows that, and they're like, "We're coming anyway." So I don't have as many.
So that's probably
shocking
your
highs.
That's probably your LoCo experience is just how many fingerprints you have around northern Colorado.
All over.
Mostly underground, mostly not
Thousands
really known about.
Jobs and families. Yes.
Mostly not really appreciated.
Yeah.
And you didn't. It's kind of like me with LoCo Think Tank. Like I didn't make that business grow from 1 million to 3 million and then to 10 million. They did it, but we helped them.
They couldn't have done it maybe with my little fingerprint.
Yeah, maybe a little bit, or maybe they would only be 700,000 by now, or
you
whatever.
did it faster.
Right, you did
them
it faster.
accelerate.
We helped you. That's what I call our groups is distributed accelerators.
Oh, I love that.
Like they're all independent. They're attached to each other. They're connected to each other, kind of too, in a network system.
Yeah.
But really, this little unit, like, try to make every business in that little distributed accelerator work better.
That's right.
That's your goal, Mr. LoCo Facilitator or Mrs. LoCo Facilitator.
You have to be very humble in the work we both do. You don't have to, there's no ego in it. And there are people in my field who have lots of ego.
Yeah.
But you can't have an ego because no one really will know. And it doesn't really matter, but you know.
Do you think you want to be a LoCo Facilitator in Longmont? Or
Maybe
Loveland?
someday.
I don't know, when you retire. I mean,
yeah, maybe.
Like, you've never really built a business.
No.
You're not really qualified on paper, but
Nope.
you understand more about building businesses than most people that have businesses.
Right.
In some ways.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to talk about it more. Like, you're not my normal candidate, but your heart is in the right place.
Right. Yeah, I've got the heart for sure for that. And people still call me and go, will you help me start my business? Will you help me start? I still coach people.
What do you think you'll do in 3 years if you retire?
I have to say I am...
You want to be grandma mostly? Or?
No. Oh, I'd love it. I have 6 kids now.
Yeah.
6 kids in our family.
But they don't have any... You don't have any grandkids
None of
yet?
them. 21,
so
21, 22, 23, 24, 25. They're all a year apart. 27.
Make some babies. That's the biggest thing Northern Colorado needs, actually, is the reproduction rate to increase.
Do you hear that, children?
We're
No
not
one will watch this,
importing.
though.
We're not importing kids like
Net
we used
new.
to.
No
So
net
we
new
need
people.
to have the locals make more babies.
Well-
Act like you're Baptists and Catholics from
None
Texas
of them are
back
on
in the
that
day.
kind of a chart.
A couple of you need to find better partners before you go forward.
Thank you, Kurt. Thank you, Kurt. Well, but anyway, or a partner would be really good.
Well, it's
Come
way
out of my
better.
basement. But anyway, I don't know what I'll do. It's the number one rule of retirement. You have to move towards something and
Yeah,
not away from something.
for sure.
And
Well,
so I have work to do there.
Part of my motivation in LoCo Think Tank really is I saw self-destructive behavior in business owners that would sell their business and then be like, hey, I got a Corvette and a girlfriend and a drinking problem.
And now I'm going to die
Now
in 5
I'm dead
years. Yeah.
early. Yeah,
Right.
and instead they could just have a chapter and like help people prosper.
Yeah,
It's
so
way
you have to have
better.
a purpose. Number one thing in retirement, you have
Yeah.
to have a purpose. You can't just get lazy and die.
Yes.
So I will not.
I
But I don't know what I'm going to do yet.
All right. What else do we have? Do you want to
that's
do anything
it. You
else?
covered
We're ready.
everything.
We're
Thank you
over
so
time
very
already.
much.
I hope you've enjoyed it.
It's just filled my heart today. Thank you so much for doing this for me and inviting me.
Oh, of course, you're more than qualified for this podcast.
Nice to see everybody.
Thanks, Ben. Thanks, everybody. Cheers.
Bye.
Till next time. Hi, this is Kurt Baer, host of the LoCo Experience podcast and founder of LoCo Think Tank. Every week, I explore intimate conversations with business founders and leaders, and so I hope you'll join us this week and every week for a new episode of the LoCo Experience.